Welcome back to Bowls Mount Maunganui for the men's fours final, the culmination of the Summerset National Fours. And it is Sheldon Bagri Howley, Caleb Hope, Jamie Hill and Gary Lawson, the skip, up against Chad Grant, Kelvin Scott, Lance Pascoe and Mike Kernaghan. The battle of the Blackjacks and Gary Lawson and Mike Kernaghan, both players who are multiple national titles. Gary Lawson, in fact, attempting to win a record-extending 14th. And we are underway. We are now playing the second end of 18 in the men's fours final. And Gary Lawson drawing a shot to pick up a single on the opening end, leading Mike Kernaghan 1-0. Brenton Vannisselroy with you in commentary alongside Kevin Hicklin. Very good afternoon, Kevin. Well, we saw a pretty impressive performance in the women's final from Sandra Keith. Very much looking forward to this one when you've got so many good players on show.
Well, we certainly have, and you know, the Mike Kernaghan side with Chad Grant leading, of course. Chad Grant won the New Zealand Trust Open singles a couple of years back, now playing at the Tarrant Point Club in Sydney, with Kelvin Scott, of course, former New Zealand title holder, Lance Pascoe, the well-performed player out of Canterbury, and Mike Kernaghan, the current blackjack and world champion fours player. And what more can you say about Kernaghan? He's won in all disciplines, and up against, of course, Sheldon Bagri Howley and Caleb Hope, two of the young up-and-coming stars out of the Gore Club, but way down the deep south. Jamie Hill, of course, who has already won a couple of national titles and been a former blackjack, unavailable at present. And Gary Lawson skipping, and what more do we have to say about Gary Lawson? 13 New Zealand titles, 2 world champions, and of course will be part of that New Zealand side in the World Championships in May on the Gold Coast. So let's say, Brenton, it's a star-studded lineup that we've got here, as this is the last event, of course, of the Summerset National Fours.
Interestingly as well, a bit of a subplot. Gary Lawson, of course, the captain really of the Elmwood Park Saints from Bowls 3-5, teaming up with 2 members of the Gore Rams and Caleb Hope and Sheldon Bagri Howley, and going up against 2 of his Elmwood Park teammates, Kelvin Scott and Lance Pascoe.
Sure is, and it's interesting as well, of course, that Kelvin Scott and Lance Pascoe will be part of the Canterbury side, of course, in the Intercentre as well, where they'll team up. But I think that we're in for a great final here, as we see now Lance Pascoe in the blue shirt playing down towards the port end, as Brenton said, one end gone, and we saw Gary Lawson, the jack got moved, and we saw Gary Lawson draw pretty well down to the ditch board, and Alex Reid, marker, will tell us that it is 2 to the Gary Lawson side. So Alex Reid, dressed all in black, the Bowls New Zealand employee, doing a sterling job for us. And we're playing pretty much a 3/4 length head. And we saw in the semi-finals, of course, Gary Lawson defeat Mike Carroll and Mike Kernaghan defeat Shannon McElroy. And we all just seen, of course, certainly has played all disciplines and has won New Zealand titles in all disciplines. Be happy if he could get second shot and sort of reduce the damage.
Of course, both of these gentlemen, Gary Lawson and Mike Kernaghan, so may have cut the count significantly here, but
he's leading. Great to see Gary Lawson taking these young fellas on board and giving them their opportunity to win the New Zealand title, as we see this first bowl of Chad Grant. It also is just going to break underneath the Bagri Howley bowl, and it's underneath it for shot. And you'll hear Gary Lawson saying to Sheldon Bagri Howley, a wee bit more grass, a bit more green. Green running around about close to 17.5, 18 seconds. Bit of breeze there as well, so it's. So Mike Kernaghan saying to his lead Chad Grant, you need a wee bit more green to get that draw towards the head, because though if you're under green on the starweed around the middle of the green now, who's trying to find a worm there, Mike Kernaghan's going to go up and give it that "we don't want you here" thing. This seagull certainly wants to stay and is not that keen on flying away. And
that's really Yeah.
So is Mike Kernaghan actually going to catch him?
I think he's trying to make friends, actually.
So there's a bit of...
Unfortunately, off screen now. He's still chasing this seagull.
And it's
might
away.
Just come back onto
it's
the
gone.
top
Over towards the Port of Tauranga. It's gone. Disappeared.
I don't know if Mike Kernaghan...
It's also good to see, thanks to Ben and Tamara, that there's a number inside the club who are actually watching the finals live on the big screen in there. Kelvin Scott now with his second bowl on this, the third end. Holding 2 was the call from Alex Reid as we watch this bowl breaking down towards the head. Has to get past, does it won't quite make it, I don't think. Alex,
is it going to fall in and be a touch? Hold up for the time being.
So Gary Lawson saying to Jamie Hill, you still play down there with weight.
You can just see the shadow on the previous shot. You can just see the shadow of the jack, so it's not quite touching.
No, Gary Lawson, I think he thinks this bowler's up. He's trying to urge the Jamie Hill bowl up. And it's going to, the whole thing on Starweed. It's not right up above us, moving around to that westerly quarter.
Yeah, the sun almost at the players' backs as they play from the port end. Gary Lawson now on the mat. Skip. Good early lead in this men's fours final here at the Summerset Nationals.
He loves the big occasions, does Gary Lawson. He loves the finals, he loves the big encounters, and he goes through in areas that got the weight. No, it hasn't. Misses a yard of weight.
Obviously was on a good track, wasn't it? Because they were interested.
Certainly on a good line. So, saying the last bowler, Mike Kernaghan's, in fact, his 4th shot. So you might have heard Jamie Hill saying to Gary Lawson, get 2 or 3 rolls onto that front bowl. So on the mat now is Lawson. He'll reach with weight.
Player with the Point Chev Pirates and bowls 3-5. So Mike Kernaghan on the board in this men's final here at the Summerset National Fours at Bowls Mount Maunganui 4-2. It is now Gary Lawson leading Mike Kernaghan after 3 of the 18 ends. And what is the culmination of this tournament? Already seen Sandra Keith, Claire Hendra, Selena Smith and Taylor Bruce crowned women's champions. Who will join them from the men and lift the Dominion Shield, which has been reintroduced as the trophy for the winning fours team. Who started very impressively in the opening end. He got a toucher and one within a foot first 2 bowls. Just one short on the 4th end. And a great first bowl though from Sheldon Bagri Howley as he slides just to the right of the jack.
Chet Grant, originally from Rotorua, and now one of the, I'd call him one of the bowls nomads that sort of moves between New Zealand and Australia, trying to get that draw back towards that centre line, and it certainly has a good draw line of weight, but just going to finish on the jack high side slightly wider. So Bagley Harley will now, Gore player, the man who restores vintage era.
Good second. Caleb Hope. Looks like he's growing a bit of a mullet out the back. Obviously very, very synonymous with Southland as well. Maybe getting that ready for the next Bowls 3-5 season. Not sure.
But the mullet is sort of a bit of a Southland uniform, isn't it, Brendan? It's sort of quite common down.
Yeah, I would say so. I'd say probably in your neck of the woods, Taranaki would be.
And of course, his partner, pretty handy player as well, Mandy Boyd. Mandy got beaten earlier on in the fours, but Mandy Boyd, of course, bronze medalist at the 2014 Commonwealth Games.
Yeah, she's watching on as well with Sister Angela and the family as well, cheering on Lance Pascoe, no doubt.
Yeah, the babies are out on display. So Jamie Hill running in towards the jack, still going to be low of it, and still one is an indication from Alex Reid to the Garrows. It got the bowl with the one bowl wide of that target area. So Mike Kernaghan will be desperately trying to get another bowl on the head, trailing 4-2 after 3 of the 18 ends. And this is the last event here at Summerset National Fours here at Mount Maunganui.
Yeah, it's been a very enjoyable 4 days. Last couple of days bringing you our broadcasts from post-section play.
Fantastic weather right throughout Brendan, hasn't it? Although we've only been here for the last couple of days, but the earlier days of section play, I know they also had great weather. John Macbeth saying to me that it was couldn't get enough fluids, and it was really, really, really hot. As we see now, Mike Kernaghan looks as though this is going to be defeated Dean Elgar, and then went on to defeat Shannon McElroy in the other semi-final, Gary Lawson defeating Mike Carroll of Stokes Valley.
Fair effort that was from Gary Lawson there to just try and sit on the second, try and make it 2, potentially 3 for Lawson. No doubt Lawson will try and play that same shot with his final bowl. So what can Kernaghan come up with in the interim? Playing on his forehand, he wasn't too far away with his last one either.
Looking for that movement of the bowl.
Oh, an exhibition there. Beautifully done. Takes out the shot bowl, adds to the count, and that is 2 for Gary Lawson. Wonderfully played. There was nothing really Mike Kernaghan could do but just stand and applaud, and he does exactly that for Gary Lawson. This is well done, Gary, as you retain the jack and the mat. And it's 6-2 now after 4 of the 18 ends. Gary Lawson leading Mike Kernaghan.
Yeah, he just played that yard, that controlled yard of weight up through the head to dislodge the shot bowl of Mike Kernaghan, who had Kernaghan playing on that backhand side. And applause from Kernaghan. Sits just slightly low of the jack, but certainly pretty close proximity. Bagri Harley now. Second fours final, of course, that Sheldon Bagri Harley has played it. Played in the final in Dunedin a couple of years ago, in fact, against Gary Lawson.
He was skip
on his backhand.
Change, mate. Just see me drift down here.
Change of hands here for Caleb Hope. Lawson saying draw down. He come in here on the forehand. Don't want to touch anything. Open draw there on the forehand. So I just heard Gary Lawson say it'll be a bit heavy, and it is. But stays up on that ditch board. So here is now Kelvin Scott trying to reach down to the shot bowl. Looks to be on a good line. Just not going to pull back to the shot bowl. Just goes by it.
So a lot of the bowls obviously similar colour. Slightly hard to see, especially with the light all over them, but the bowl just below the Jack. Shot bowl of Caleb Hope out to the right-hand side is the Chad Grant bowl. And that one comes well short from Jamie Hill.
Certainly was. Be happy with that. So Lance Pascoe will now play down on his backhand.
His bowls are a bit more charcoal, aren't they? Rather than just the black of Jamie Hill's.
Not sure if that's going to run all the way either. It's not. It's going to pull up in front of that short bowl. Say to Jamie Hill, come on, give us a good one. Hold in one shot. Jamie Hill seemed to get that bowl away with more weight on the forehand, and it's not going to. See Lawson now urging that bowl.
Yard, mate.
So a yard is the call from Mike Kernaghan to Lance Pascoe. It was a yard of weight on that backhand side, and it's on its way. Lance Pascoe, of course, yet to win a New Zealand title, so he'd dearly love to get a win here. This bowl just creeps up and actually, in fact, ran into the Sheldon Bagley Howley bowl, tipped it over, and may have made two of that, and it has. Just a touch on the bowl, made two of it. Yeah, the problem that Mike Kernaghan's getting early on in this game, Brenton, is that he just can't get the front to give him some shots around the head, and you know, there's short bowls and just not really enabling to put the pressure on the Lawson side. The pressure's on Kernaghan end after end, and as good a bowler as he is, that takes its toll, and exceptionally challenging for.
Yeah, certainly the front end for Gary Lawson, starting the stronger of the two foursomes after the first 5 ends have been played by the front 3. Now it's up to the skips on this 5th end. Lawson trying to add to the count. He comes around that wide bowl of Chad
count.
Grant, and it will count. So it's 3 now. So the bowl, which is just below the jack here, just to the right below it, is the bowl of Caleb Hope. The bowl just above it, which is the white and purple bowl of Sheldon Bagley Howley, and now the orange bowl, burnt orange bowl out to the right hand side, Gary Lawson, and above that is the closest Kernaghan bowl, and that being the bowl of Chad Grant.
So this becomes a big bowl now, big end for Mike Kernaghan. 3 down on the head.
Wow, it could make quite a big change in this game, isn't it, if he drops a number here.
So drawing on that backhand side. See Lance Pascoe looking at the head as it's coming down towards the head now. Has to come back inside those bowls to get to where he needs to get to. And he's certainly drawn in amongst them, whether he's made shot. 1 down, I just saw Kelvin Scott. And that's also Alex Reid indicating that as well. It's 1 to Sheldon Bagley Howley and Gary Lawson. So a good save there by Mike Kernaghan. Not a lot of room to draw really there, Brendan, because those bowls are fairly close. That Kernaghan, being the astute and very, very accomplished draw player that he is.
Yeah, so we can assume it's obviously beaten the Gary Lawson bowl and also beaten the Sheldon Bagley Howley bowl. That Caleb Hope bowl down the bottom, just below the jack, is the shot.
I saw Kelvin Scott very, very quickly indicate that we're just the 1 down. So Lawson persevere now on that backhand. Very warm conditions here at Mount Maunganui.
The sun's pouring into the commentary box, certainly all over you now, Kevin. You'll be nice and warm.
Yeah, well, at 4:22, and there still was plenty of warmth out there in the sun for sure as we watch the Gary Lawson bowl. I question that weight though. No, it hasn't got the weight. So there's not a lot that Kernaghan really can do, and he's got Lance Pascoe to have a good look at the head. Lance Pascoe will. Kelvin Scott now having a look.
Must be pretty close. Do you think they're trying to work out the second, or?
We'll see in a moment. Kelvin Scott might. No, he's not indicating.
It's very tight, mate.
Very tight was the call. Now, as Brenton said, we don't know if that's very tight for the shot or for the second possible counting bowl.
If they're coming back to the Bagri Howley bowl here, you think it's going for the second, isn't it?
Well, looking at the monitor,
The way they look, and we're pretty certain, aren't we, that the Caleb Hope bowl
is the shot bowl.
past the jack is the shot bowl. Could be wrong, of course.
There we go.
Oh, he says he favours us, Kelvin Scott, now. So whether that's for second or
that would be
for the shot, who knows?
If that's a shot, then that's
Big turnaround, isn't it?
Certainly is. It's a that's a big bowl from Mike Kernaghan. Kelvin Scott, I'd say he's pretty good on the old eyes. He's been around a long time. As we see this second bowl of Mike Kernaghan's, and who's got it? Anyone got a measure? Oh yes, Jamie Hill. That's most unusual.
So Sheldon Bagri Howley's picked up the mat, so he thinks
That's an indication from their point of view, isn't it?
So I think they're measuring for the second. Well, they've already taken the Caleb Hope bowl out, so it is the measure for second.
One.
There's just the one. So another one to Gary Lawson. 7-2 it is now after 5 of the 18 ends, but they were holding 3, Kevin Eklund, before
Certainly
that
were.
lovely draw from Mike Kernaghan.
So that really made a big difference because, we could have seen them jump to a 9-2 lead, which certainly is challenging after 5 of the 18 ends. But 7-2, still, Lawson has got that very handy 5-shot buffer. But as we know, things can change very, very quickly. We see Sheldon Bagri Howley and, of course, Caleb Hope. This would be their first New Zealand title. They're endeavouring to win. So there's a first in the, of course, for Chad Grant and Lance Pascoe, and a first for Caleb Hope and Sheldon Bagri Howley. So it's a big day for these guys. As we see the Sheldon Bagri Howley bowl, it's going to go by with a bit of weight on it. So I think what Mike Kernaghan certainly wants to see Chad Grant, when these opportunities arise, he wants them to try and dominate the head by getting that first bowl as close to the jack as possible.
Oh, he'd like to have a chance to not be playing catch up, wouldn't he, Mike
Absolutely.
Because that's what's been happening in the last few ends. That's the reason why they're in this 5-shot hole. And this is a good first up bowl from Chad Grant, doing exactly what you're talking about and getting a touch up.
Yeah, that's what Mike Kernaghan needs, the heads to start like that, and hasn't been happening to date. And of course, but we also know that the attacking shots from the Lawson combination, Gary Lawson, Jamie Hill, they've certainly got a full bag of shots. As we see this bowl of Bagri Howley's breaking down towards the head, just got a touch, in fact, onto the shot bowl. Still be shot to the Kernaghan side, but the good thing is it's moved the jack out, brings it into a drawing position, whereas before it was virtually locked right on top of the jack. There's now room for them to draw, as we see now Chad Grant now on his forehand, with Gary Lawson leading 7-2 as we come to the 6th of 18 ends.
Very good, Mike.
And Mike Kernaghan will be happy with that, and behind the head, and that's 2 shots to the Kernaghan side. So Caleb Hope will immediately go to his backhand, playing up towards the port end here at Mount Maunganui.
Obviously they have to change their line with the jack having moved out to the right as we see it here on our camera. So it's an adjustment. He's made a pretty good fist of it here on a pretty good line. Just a bit short in weight, but fair effort.
Still 2, as indicated by Alex Reid. So now Kelvin Scott really chance to put the pressure on these players. Of course, those we know, Brenton, especially the likes of Lawson and Kernaghan, they can change heads around of the highest quality, and that'll more than likely make 3. But yeah, so Lawson saying to Caleb Hope, you come down here with virtually pick your weight. And it's on its way pretty quick on the backhand, on the drive, trying to get to the counting bowls. Got 1.
Got 2.
Got 2, in fact.
Yeah, so that's a good result. Gary Lawson will be happy with that.
Pretty quick on the drive is Caleb Hope, as we've seen in the Bowls 3-5 and other events. So here is Kelvin Scott playing his second bowl.
Doesn't need a second invitation to play the drive, that's for sure.
No, he does not.
Executed very well on that occasion. Doing exactly what his skip was asking.
So it's 2 shots, and here's the call down of Jamie Hill. I like the idea of trying to get the jack into the ditch on the backhand. That's what he'll try and do, try and run the jack into the
I think Jamie
jack.
Hill liked it.
He didn't like it early on the draw. So, same to Lance Pesco as Mike Kernaghan on that forehand side. See if you can turn that bowl over as well, get it into the head. Gary Lawson got the advantage, of course, of that back bowl. So here's now Lance Pesco playing his first on the 16. It's going to come back enough. Sits inside and around the bowl. He'll certainly go again. Oh, Jamie Hill. Daring to try and get the jack into the ditch. Got something, got the Lance Pesco bowl that was shot, dislodged that right out of the head. So Lance Pesco will try now and repeat that. Give them 3 shots when they change over.
And we're seeing the aggressive nature of Gary Lawson as skip, isn't he? When he's behind, he's not afraid of saying, I want some weighted efforts here. Some drives.
He'll back himself. There's Lance Pesco. And a draw, yet another, and behind, and that would just, the way how that bowl's now situated, it just makes Lawson's mind up very quickly of the shot that he's going to play.
Oh, it's like a chess match, this end, isn't it? Yeah, we'll draw, we'll drive, we'll draw, we'll drive.
Just
very few misses.
Gary Lawson just turned the mat over, and that tells you what weight that he's going to play with, a wee bit more weight than what Jamie Hill played, I would think. It's a normal call, and he certainly is. He's on the drive as Lawson going for the jack, and is wide of the head, very much wide of the head.
Not happy with that at all. Head stays down. Gary Lawson, he knows that this could be a big chance for Kernaghan to get right back in the match. They're holding 3. And Mike Kernaghan yet to play his 2 bowls. 1 remaining for Gary Lawson.
So 3 was the indicated by Alex Reid. You can see him behind Alex, our lollipop man. He's standing right behind the scoreboard. As you see Mike Kernaghan now on the forehand holding 3 shots, as Brendan said, trailing 7-2. Gary Lawson, 1 bowl left on this the 16, and we know that he'll be driving for sure. And this bowler Kernaghan is coming in behind and will also count. Here now is Gary Lawson.
This is a big bowl. So important he executes here, Gary Lawson. Otherwise, Kernaghan is right back into this final.
It's on its way. He's on his haunches. He likes it. You know, when he's on his haunches, he likes it. Gets the jack and kills it.
Kills it, and we'll replay it. So Mike Kernaghan, after all that effort, a well established head by his side, they've had to give it up. As it's replayed, Gary Lawson down 4 on the head, executes brilliantly, and we're going to have another go. But no need to pick up the bowls, boys. We'll just play back the other end. So they're going to play from the port end. And the score, of course, remains 7-2. And we will replay the 6th end. Well executed kill by Gary Lawson, Kevin Hicklin.
Certainly was. Big bowl from Gary Lawson. And you know with Lawson when he lets the bowl, when he delivers the bowl, when you see him down on his haunches, you know he's close. And you heard the shout from him, the jack. You want the jack clean back into the ditch, and 15, you know, he could well have been 5 down after that if he misses that, because Mike Kernaghan had a bowl left. Good opening bowl here from Sheldon Bagley-Harley, draws right on top of the jack. Mike Kernaghan now, just get back to your work, boys. And so Chad Grant now trying to get down to the Sheldon Bagley-Harley bowl. As it went by us here, it looked to be short, and it duly is short.
Some extra sun protection for Kevin Hicklin, as Ben and Tamara have had to move the whole tent for the prima donna commentator that is Kevin Hicklin.
Oh yeah, and it's it's the size of a circus tent as well.
Well, exactly. It usually would take 10 men.
It's a big move.
Ben and Tamara.
They can do everything. They can do it all. But good thing we've got a good view of the screen as well now, which is very good.
No, all seriousness, it's good to keep out the sun, which, as you say, Kevin, is still very hot.
It is, and of course we've got the general manager of the New Zealand Cancer Society, Mike Kernaghan, out there playing. So you know,
he was shaking his head, seeing how much sun was falling on you. He would not have allowed that.
Slip, slap campaign. So it's the Sheldon Bagley-Harley bowl. His shot, and I've marked it down at 15. Is that going to be the telling end in this 18-end final of the Summerset Men's National Fours? So Mike Kernaghan saying to Kelvin Scott, just beat the bowl. Not worrying about trying to get the shot at this point, trying to get the second shot and then something to work on. Kelvin Scott of the Elmwood Club in Christchurch. Watch the bowl now, breaking down towards the head. How's the weight going to be? Is it going to get what? Needed another metre of weight to get the result that Mike Kernaghan wanted. Caleb Hope now trying to build more pressure. Gary Lawson standing, watching, and he's done just that. Of course, what's also done though is given a wee bit of a sort of shoulder feather opportunity for the Kernaghan side to get down to where that bowl is and work off the bowl to get to the jack. So Kelvin Scott now is trying to get another bowl on the head for Mike Kernaghan. And he's gone through to the back. So obviously Kernaghan, we're going to see some attack.
Yeah, I think we saw a well done, didn't we? Kernaghan.
Tamara here's trying to do a building job on the tent, sure one of these gentlemen over here will come and whack that stake in for Tamara. That's she's pretty good, but that's the farmer driving the stake. So
team effort here at Poles Mount Maunganui.
So Lance Pascoe now will try and reach up on that forehand, playing with weight as we anticipated he would do, trying to get the split to the bowls. Got one at the outside bowl of Caleb Hopes. Got two. You'll hear that call from Gary Lawson. But that's the only end so far, really, Brenton, of these 6 ends. That replay of that we saw, the Kernaghan side get some domination on the head, and so that's why the response now from the Lawson side is very, very good, because they were definitely 4 down with 1 to come. Gary Lawson with a drive managed to kill the end, get a replay of that end. So again, Lance Pascoe endeavouring to get to the shot bowl. He's close. And he got it close. He got the bowl out.
Got both out.
Now it's a drawing game for the Skips because there's only, what, 4 bowls left on the rink, I think.
Yeah, there's one deep bowl left. 6 bowls left, but yeah, just the ones you can see, and then there's.
So you'll see
2 just pretty much right at the bottom of the screen. You can see one.
He's
right
on the
below
monitor now. You'll see the replay, and as Brendan rightly said, collected both of the Lawson bowls. So here is now Gary Lawson to play his first bowl on the replay of this, the 16, on his backhand. And Alex Reid.
Indicating 2.
Mike
Kernaghan's holding.
And this bowl, Lawson's is going to hang out on that wide side. And still 2 to the Mike Kernaghan side. So very good drive there from Lance Pascoe. With his first bowl, he removed 1, and then with his second bowl, drove the shot bowl and took out the other Gary Lawson bowl as well. So Kernaghan now with about a metre at least to draw another counter, and then Gary Lawson will play his last bowl on this replay of the 16 of the final of the men's 4s here at the Summerset National Bowls at Mount Maunganui, as we watch this bowl of Mike Kernaghan break in towards the head or sit in behind it. That's a counter.
That's 3 now that they're holding. So we saw on the first attempt at the 16, they were holding all the cards, and Gary Lawson forced to come up with a big drive to replay this. Lawson's 4 got a good start off the front, but then Pascoe with a great execution of the drive. Now can Lawson cut the count here? It's a fair effort, but it's going to land alongside his other one.
Just stays out on that righter side. So
Alex Reid still indicating 3.
So this has been now turned around. A good comeback in now for the combination, the Mike Kernaghan combination, because
the replay hasn't worked out too bad, because they were holding 4 at the time that Gary Lawson killed it, and now a chance to make it 4.
Well,
Mike Kernaghan.
You know, if they get the 4, Lance Pascoe really turned that into a 6-shot turnaround from that head. So, you know, well done by the number 3 for Mike Kernaghan. As we now see Mike Kernaghan now on his backhand, as indicated by Alex Reid, definitely holding 3 down on the backhand side. Is Mike Kernaghan looks to be on a pretty good line, as it's now got to break underneath the front bowl, and it's going to break has to get cleanly underneath that bowl, the front bowl. Will it? We'll wait to see what they indicate.
Well, Alex Reid's got the 4 ready. That's the indication from him. 1, 2. Now, are those 2 closer? 3. Taken away.
Jamie Hill, he's very nonchalant, isn't he? Just sort of, yeah, have that one, yeah, that one, and yeah, perhaps this one.
4 confirmed. So a big end for Mike Kernaghan. 7-6. 7-6 now after the replayed 6th end. So we are a third of the way through this men's final here at the Summerset National 4s. And just 1 shot the difference.
Well, the other thing to take into account here, Brendan, as well, that the last 2 ends, we've actually seen the Kernaghan side holding 8 shots. So Gary Lawson got the kill on the previous one, replay, and was holding the head well until Lance Pascoe played that very, very good shot. Gary Lawson then couldn't recover from it with the draw, and Mike Kernaghan capitalised on it and drew 2, and we're now 1 the difference.
Yeah, well done by Mike Kernaghan's 4 after being 4 up. They thought they had a big opportunity, but then when Gary Lawson killed it, but they managed to sort it all the second time round.
As see now, the first bowl, Chad Grant's falling very, very short. He'll be disappointed with that, playing up towards the port end here at Tauranga. Sun moved away, temperature dropped slightly.
As we have our road to the men's four final here. As you can see, obviously Gary Lawson and Mike Kernaghan, how they have made it here. Gary Lawson with a win over Scott Roberts. That was in the quarterfinals last night before beating Mike Carroll in the semi-finals early this afternoon. Whereas Mike Kernaghan arguably had a tougher run to make it to the final. He had the defending champion and Dean Alger to play in the quarterfinals, and that was this morning, and he beat the defending champion, a reversal of last year's final, 9i Bowling Club, and then took down his Black Jack's teammate and Shannon McElroy in the semi-finals to get to where they are now, playing the 7th end of the men's fours final here at Bowls Mount Maunganui.
Straight away we have seen Jack Grant fall short with his first bowl, because the Jack in fact is virtually on the 2 metre mark. Jack Grant's second bowl in fact went into the ditch, and still plenty of room though. Good meter for Kelvin Scott. Very strong, a good draw player is Kelvin Scott. The Cantabrian, of course, will be playing in the Canterbury Minter Centre side. And of course, part of the Onward Park Bowls 3-5 side, as we watch the Kelvin Scott bowl break towards the head, ran into the very short bowl of Chad Grant's. And that actually looked to be on a pretty good line, actually, Brendan, that bowl of Kelvin Scott's.
Well, the only positive thing so far for the first 3 bowls is that Sheldon Bagri-Howley hasn't got one on the Jack yet.
Correct, and you know, it's this bowl now, Caleb hopes this is going to be the closest one would think, and that's
but now there is one.
Certainly is, and that's 3 as indicated very quickly there by Alex Reid, and I'm sure we'll see, it's a call from Mike Kernaghan, just draw us one close. That's all he wants. Don't want to score, you know, like that good 4 that they just scored, and then get into trouble the very next end and drop a cluster of shots. As we watch this bowl here of Kelvin Scott, he's trying to urge this bowl up to get to the second shot. Has to get past the front though. He's going to get past the front bowls and get second shot.
Same again, mate.
May well, not sure. We'll see what Alex has to say with the lollipops in but a moment.
It might make it 2, might it? Yeah, cut it to 2 rather than cut it to 1. Interesting that he decided to go on that forehand side when there's a bit of the short stuff to negotiate.
I definitely thought he would have been playing there. As Caleb Hope's playing that backhand arc, which is there. Now we've got to, yeah, there's the shot now. Lance Pesco straight away. Mike Kernaghan saying to him, now there's a shot there. There's a good V into the head. Just get your green right and you can sit on that shot bowl or move the Jack. Don't know about the weight though as it goes past me here, and I see Lance Pesco with the hands. He certainly doesn't like it as well, and in fact it's more likely it actually didn't even come alive, that particular bowl of Pesco's, so he'd be really disappointed with that. So on that basis it would be 3 shots that they're holding now with the Lawson side, and trying to encourage the Jamie Hill bowl to come draw back in, and it's 3. I'm sure we'll see Lance Pesco and men just trying to get second shot would help Mike Kernaghan as it goes past us here in the commentary position. Looks to be on a better line. How's the weight now though? Is it going to get all the way? Trying to break down towards the head, and it's not going to. In fact, it's about 4 or 5 feet short. They'll be disappointed with that. I'm sure we're going to see Mike Kernaghan. Hard to get the second shot. I'm pretty sure we might see Kernaghan. He might attack for the Jack on the backhand. Here's now Jamie Hill. They can get this plane to get the 4 back. And he got that nice feather off the short bowl of Lance Pascoe's. Now sits alongside. What is the shot bowl? So big pressure now, Brendan, on Mike Kernaghan as they change over.
Oh, he's got nothing with
5.
a Kiwi.
5 shots.
I think this is 4.
Oh, 4 it is. My apologies.
But he's got nothing close, so that's That's the problem for Mike Kernaghan as he makes his way to the mat. He's picked up a 4 on the previous end to get right back into this final, the culmination of these Summerset National Fours.
So here is now Mike Kernaghan trying to, as Brendan said, trying to get a ball close is the option that came for Kernaghan, and that too is going to pull up short. Big trouble here, and I really question Brendan. Was he better to have a flick at the jack then? He might have got a couple of the bowls out if he didn't get the jack. Trying to dead draw that it's really challenging to that 2 metre mark, and as you rightly say, his team's given him absolutely nothing this end.
Yeah, I suppose that's his strength though, isn't it?
Oh, it is his strength.
He's a draw player, so I think he's playing to his strength there. I completely understand what you're saying, but I think Mike Kernaghan goes, it's my game, it's the draw. I back myself to get inside there and cut the count. Get another opportunity, but Gary Lawson, of course, will have the final say on the 7th end.
And here's Lawson, certainly with the weight as it went past us, giving it that opportunity, and he's in fact ran into the shortest Mike Kernaghan bowl. We'll see whether that's made, well, it'll still be a number.
It's made it 5. Is it? Has it made it 5 or is it still 4? Alex Reed's just working out, and it's still 4.
So Mike Kernaghan walking back to the mat. And I just wonder whether Lawson was actually trying to move the jack as well, thinking that Kernaghan might play that shot, because all the back bowls, of course, belong to the Lawson combination. So here is Mike Kernaghan now. And he's playing with that weight to get the jack into the ditch. That's what he's endeavouring to do, is Kernaghan. And he got the kill.
He kills it. Oh, well executed. It isn't his game, as we said. He's renowned for his draw play, but he went with that drive and he got the result. One result was getting the jack in the ditch. The next best result was the kill, and he did it.
Interesting though, we see now Lawson saying, no, we're going to play back this way again. It felt that way. So you'll see the jack being delivered again to the 2 metre mark.
So forcing all the players to pick up their bowls.
Yeah, I was surprised. I thought Mike Kernaghan might have attempted that shot with his first bowl, but backed himself on the draw. As you rightly said, Brendan, it is his strength, is the draw. But then, of course, was left with little option and endeavoured to get the jack clearly into the ditch, but got the next other best option from there is to get the kill, and Mike Kernaghan got that. As we see some cardigans coming out here at Mount Maunganui. Ben has just put on his Celtic personalised attire, and we saw that jack. And I just wondered though, Brendan, I'm just surprised how that's gone, because Mike Kernaghan had scored on that last end. You know, I thought he said, well, let's try and shorten it up. He knows what he's doing. So here is now Chad Grant. And
they have to be without their skip for a few bowls. The Mike Kernaghan 4 is a nature break for Mike Kernaghan. So this is Gary Lawson on his lonesome at the port end of Bowls Mount Maunganui, the club here.
Good opening bowl here from Sheldon Begbie-Howley. Just going to go past, but sits on the centre line, metre a bit over. So it's imperative here. Chad Grant endeavours to give his skip a good start on this. The replay now of the 7th end, after Mike Kernaghan killed the head when he was 4 down. So you see this bolt of Chad Grant's just going to finish over their head. That'll be the shot for sure. A metre by. So Sheldon Begley Howley following this one. Gary Lawson says it's close, and it will be close. Sits just alongside the jack. 7-6.
Now it's the replayed 7th end. It's the second end we've replayed. No surprise with the tightness of this match. We may see a few more.
So here now, Kelvin Scott trying to get to the Begley Howley bowl, but it's narrow on the line. I'm going to slip away. So it's interesting. Lawson indicating to Caleb Hope he wants him to persevere on that backhand, and he has, playing up towards the port end here. Sheldon Begley Howley playing the forehand, and Caleb Hope down on the backhand side. This Summerset National Fours final, and sits alongside the jack. So Kelvin Scott endeavour to get at least second shot for Mike Kernaghan, and this is I just sense though, Brendan, this is where the trouble is for Mike Kernaghan, is that they're just not getting that. Chad Grant and Kelvin Scott at this point in time.
Oh, they've been outplayed by the Gore youngsters, and I don't think there's any doubt about that. Sheldon Begley Howley and Caleb Hope, time and time again, have got bowls around the head, whereas Chad Grant and Kelvin Scott have been more inconsistent.
But if we go back to the 4 that Mike Kernaghan scored, it actually came about from two good drives, in fact, from Lance Pascoe, that created that opportunity. But the front 2 of the Gary Lawson side had the shots before Lance Pascoe drove. So, and they've done it again now on the replay as well of this end. So Lance Pascoe now will have to make sure that he's. Otherwise, it's just too hard for Mike Kernaghan to try and draw his way out of it. As we watch this bowl now, while Lance Pascoe's looks to have good weight going past the jack, and it is going to
green.
It is. It's going to go by, and it's 3 to the Lawson combination.
Yeah, so I think the bowl just next to the 2 Chad Grant bowls, there's the other green bowls. That's a bowl of Caleb Hope, and that's the 3rd shot, and then obviously the 2 bowls you can see just to the right and in front of the jack.
That'll count.
May cut the count. That's of course a Jamie Hill bowl, isn't it? So that's make it 4.
So saying to Lance Pascoe, you are just 2 metres over. Hold your line. Yeah, as it goes past us, it looks certainly less weight than the first. This looks a better line from Lance Pascoe. This is now breaking in towards the head. Just got to get past the front, and does, and draws right alongside the jack. Well played, Lance Pascoe. And, Mike Kernaghan said to him, you're a couple of metres straight away. See, here's Lawson wanting to attack straight away. Got bowls around the head. Saying to Jamie Hill, play up there with weight. You can nick that bowl off clean. And here is Jamie Hill going for the Pascoe bowl. Misses it. Bit of good footwork there by Gary Lawson. Flicked the bowl up on his foot.
Well, much needed bowl from Lance Pascoe, wasn't it? As the front end's getting well beaten. Mike Kernaghan's 4, but number 3 come up with a number of big bowls. Lance Pascoe.
He has. He's played some, going down here on the 6th end. He did that, and now again here on this the 7th. He's done it again with a draw shot. And Mike Kernaghan, he'll be desperately trying to get another bolt on the head. It's on its way on the forehand from the Dunedin player, North East Valley. Looking at this bowl. This looks a good bowl here from Kernaghan as well. Just going to go by though if it sits And that would help the cause. I see sitting alongside here a few moments ago, Dave Archer, his good friend from Tyree. Of course, they won the Peers together a number of years back. David Archer and Mike Kernaghan. So I'm sure Lawson walking back, he's certainly looking at that bowl of Lance Pascoe's. Certainly, I'm sure he'll play with that reaching weight up through the port.
Oh, he's just turned the mat over. Last time he turned the mat over, the drive
It's
came.
quick. It's coming quick.
What's that little extra grip, even though really the grip comes on his left foot, which is off the mat.
So, goes by, goes through the port, was close. Sheldon Bagley Howley, hands on head.
He'll get another opportunity. Last time we saw it playing down this end, didn't he?
Yeah.
And he needed a second opportunity, he capitalised.
Gary Lawson's indicated now with having Jamie Hill play his shot and the shot to Gary Lawson. He played on Starweed, you either draw or drive. Those weighted shots are so difficult to play, and we've seen, and Kernaghan trying to get right to the back, but it goes into the ditch.
Wasn't far away, just a turn or two too much.
Gary Lawson
Second time round.
on the drive again, and goes through the same
goes
port.
through the gap. So Mike Kernaghan scoring again, and we're all tied up now, 7 apiece after 7 of the 18 ends. So replayed 7th end, of course, and killed by Mike Kernaghan. Gary Lawson was in charge early on, and then that end they were again in charge until Lance Pascoe played a great bowl with his second.
Well, it's coming from the back end of the Kernaghan side at this point in time, isn't it? You know, the rescues, so to speak, really, not the building, it's more the rescue. And they've done it well. You know, we saw Lance Pascoe then, and we saw the end before, of course. Mike Kernaghan killed the end when he was in big trouble for sure on the head. So the front now needs to take a lap, and I'm sure they know that only too well. Chad Grant now on his backhand, playing away from the port end here at Club Mount Maunganui, breaking down towards the head is the first bolt of Chad Grant, and it's going to be about a metre low of the jack, but certainly finishes on the centre line. Sheldon Bagley Howley, the lead for Gary Lawson, will be on his backhand. Lawson, of course, going for his 14th New Zealand title, and I think this would be Kernaghan's 8th. I'd stand to be corrected on that, as I haven't got the records here of the pairs and singles, but we may be able to look that up throughout the game, this match, to see. So here is now Chad Grant playing his second bowl. There's a better bowl here from the Kernaghan lead. He's going to draw right down towards the jack. Just skip by. No, good bowl on the head for the Kernaghan side. Sheldon Bagley Howley now on his backhand. Of course, this production we're bringing to you on Sky Sport next. Ben and Tamara, our two production people here, do a wonderful job. Make sure that we can bring this first class production to you. I know the people inside the clubhouse are watching it, and we hope you people at home as well are watching this, enjoying this Sky Sports Next coverage of the final of the men's fours at the Summerset National Championships. And we'll be back in a couple of weeks' time. Of course, as well, we'll be bringing the North-South match from the Silverstream Club in Wellington, and then the Inter-Centre played around the greens of Wellington, and we'll be bringing you that as well right throughout the weekend on Sky Sports next. So Kelvin Scott is drawn in behind the head, definitely holding a couple. Here is the Kernaghan side, in fact holding 3. So here's Caleb Hope on his backhand, the tall 21-year-old from the Gore Club. Kernaghan definitely holding a couple. Just question, how's that line looking? No, it's going to break now under that, the centre line. Yes, it is. So, and short, just leaving it blocked up now. Just the draw left for the either side. And here we'll see now Kelvin Scott from Elmwood Park in Christchurch. Definitely holding 2-3 is the call from Alex Reid. We watch this bowl here of Kelvin Scott's break towards the head. Just got to get front past the front, and it doesn't. So that's an indication from Alex Reid. Definitely a couple to the Mike Kernaghan side. Caleb Hope now playing his second and last bowl on this, the 8th end, with the scores all locked up at 7 apiece. A better bowl here is Caleb Hope, but not going to get to the jack, just runs by.
Still a healthy contingent inside bowls at Mount Maunganui. Watching the coverage. Shout out to all of you in there. I suppose maybe getting a bit chilly out here. More comfortable confines
Certainly
inside the club. Hope you are enjoying the coverage wherever you may be. Indeed, watching it, we've enjoyed bringing you the Summerset National Fours. Myself, Brenton Vannisseroy, alongside Kevin Hicklin, and obviously Ben and Tamara, who do all the amazing work behind the scenes putting this all together.
So we've just seen Lance Pascoe draw. Another counter. All of a sudden, it's the Kernaghan side that's holding the number. And it's 3 is the call as you watch this bowl of Jamie Hills. How far is it going to come back? Needs to sit on the bowls. In fact, just going to go by. And in fact, rolls the ditch.
A bit of a momentum shift here, isn't it? Obviously, some great work saving the back end from both Pascoe and Kernaghan.
Well, the good thing was Chet Grant and Kelvin Scott both drew shots early on in the head.
Yeah, now it's starting to get a bit of help from the teammates. It becomes a bit of an easier game. When
It just makes it so much different. And Gary Lawson just saying to Jamie Hill, come on, get up past these front bowls. Give yourself a chance to get to the counting bowls. Just going to question how far is it going to go by. It's going to go
Similar to
by
the last,
again.
again into the ditch, I think. Yeah, it is. So 2 bowls off the surface from Jamie Hill. Obviously was worried about being short and getting caught amongst all the short bowls. You can see on screen too much weight on those. And obviously the line wasn't so that they'd land on the shot bowls either.
So Mike Kernaghan now had the rare opportunity of holding a good head and to build on it. The work done by his front end players. Here's Kernaghan on the backhand, following this bowl. Breaking down towards the head now. How's the width? Is it going to get all the way past? Has to get past the front bowls. No, it's not. But of course what it does do is it just makes that target for Gary Lawson that much harder to get around. He's got to get past those front bowls to draw to the jack. So here is Lawson, Gary Lawson now, also holder of 13 New Zealand titles. As it breaking down towards the head now, has to get past this bowl of the Kernaghan side, and he's going to, is he going to sit, just goes by. Certainly had everything right about it, Brenton, didn't it? Looked as though he may have got a touch on the jack.
He can only shake his head. Gary Lawson, so close, but yet so far where it's ended up. Still holding 3, Kernaghan.
It was that well judged by Gary Lawson on the draw to get around those front bowls. So Kernaghan now, the one thing that Kernaghan won't want to do is to give Gary Lawson a shoulder to work off. So here's now Kernaghan on the mat, playing his last bowl on this, the 8th end, with the scores all locked up at 7-all on the backhand. There's Kernaghan. Good indication from his teammate standing there to see whether it's going to get into the counting area or not. They'll give their body language normally tells us. And
the fact they didn't move much.
No, they didn't. In
told
fact,
us they weren't too happy with it.
But what it has done, it's made it really, really difficult for Gary Lawson to get into the head. And it may see him have to change his hand, or he might be looking to play with a lot of weight down onto this Sheldon Bagley Howley bowl. That's what, because there's a lot of bowls in front.
Which is the purple and white multicoloured bowl, isn't it?
Which is the middle. There's a line of 3 bowls there. It's the middle bowl in there, because to get to the draw now on that backhand side would certainly be a challenge. So we'll see what weight Gary Lawson elects to play.
Well, we'll know if he turns over the mat. So what's the mat? Is he going to turn over the mat? No, he's not. So you think from that it's going to be a draw, but on the forehand side, you think. No, here's the drive.
He's playing with that full weight to get to the Bagley Howley bowl. That's what he was playing for, to get some contact. They're going to run through, sit through, roll back. The head certainly all changed around with that. And
it still looks like 2 though, does it?
From our monitor it looks like 2, and that's what Alex Reid is quickly indicating as well.
So he did cut the count by 1 in the end, Gary Lawson. Wasn't far away from maybe pinching it away from Mike Kernaghan. Mike Kernaghan takes the lead, I believe, for the first time, 9-7 after 8 of the 18 ends. Mike Kernaghan leading Gary Lawson in the men's final here at the Summerset National Fours in Bowls, Mount Maunganui.
And of course, it was 7-2 after 5 ends. It was the Lawson side who was leading by 7 shots to 2. So a great comeback from the Kernaghan side. We play now the 9th, the halfway mark of this final of this men's fours.
I believe it's 4 ends apiece as well, just looking at your score sheet there, Kevin.
Yes, it is. It's interesting, the women's final, although it was won convincingly, so to speak, by Sandra Keith, the composite side of the Wendy Green side actually outscored the Sandra Keith side by 9 ends to 8 in that women's final, and got defeated. So it was the big numbers that got picked up. Jack Grant, good opening bowl here on the 9th end.
Yeah, 5 and a 4 back-to-back ends in that women's final. So important. Sandra Keith getting the win over Wendy Green. So 1 national title has been handed out, and an hour and a half time or so, another will be handed out. Will it be Mike Kernaghan bouncing back from that agonising defeat to Dean Elgar 12 months ago at 9i Bowling Club in the fours, or will it be Gary Lawson celebrating his record-setting 14th national title? Stick with us here on Sky Sport next.
Chad Graham now just drawn 2 very, very good bowls on that forehand side, and of course they had struggled going up that way to the 2 metre mark, but Chad Grant, this particular end, has certainly gave Kernaghan a good start. Good response here from Sheldon Bagley Howley, just goes by. Certainly good attempt from the young Gore player. Kelvin Scott now will play his first on the 9th end, and he'll try and get another bowl close by for the Kernaghan combination. Of course, the good thing for Mike Kernaghan with the Chad Grant bowl, that shot, it's sitting right on the centre line, and this bowl of Kelvin Scott is going to duck away under the centre line and be short. So again, we've seen Gary Lawson, he's persisting to make sure he gets Caleb Hope playing on that backhand side, going up towards the port end here at Mount Maunganui. Gary Lawson looking at this, but looks to be just going to go past the jack. Was certainly a great effort there from Caleb Hope. Brendan looked as though He was going to get a touch on the jack.
Yeah, certainly looked on target, didn't it? Right from the time it left his hand, he thought it was going to be in the area. Gary Lawson was interested, but it finds the gap.
It's really good to see Gary Lawson, I've said this a couple of times, or a number of times, taking these younger guys, Sheldon Begley-Howley and Caleb Hope, under his wing, because it's certainly great mentoring for these younger players.
They can learn so much, can't they?
Oh, absolutely.
Just playing with them, they don't have to, you know, get actual one-on-one time with them or anything like that, but just playing with Gary Lawson, learning how one of the very best in the business does it.
So here's now Caleb Hope on the backhand, looking to get to the shot bowls and the jack.
Gets both of the shot bowls out. Both of the bowls from Chad Grant disappear.
So that's twice now we've seen Caleb Hope successfully attack the head. And the other good thing is, Bren, you know, the young fellas all play together, and it's nothing better for them to play with, you know, one of the masters and learn not only so much the discipline about on the green, but just how they play the game, and to, you know, sit out at night, have a coffee and a bite to eat.
Nice little slide through there from Lance Pascoe. Finds its way closer towards the jack after running into the short Kelvin Scott bowl. So holding two, Kernaghan again.
Jamie Hill trying to get to the jack, and he has got the jack, and I think that is going to, it's out.
Kill.
Another kill.
And they'll try again. I don't think Jamie Hill was trying to kill it.
Yeah, no,
that's what he's done, and we will replay the ninth end, and there is no chance that Ben and Tamara are going to get out of here early.
No, there's not. They won't get They won't get the 6 o'clock bus back to Tauranga.
Yeah, dead right. This is the third replayed end we have had. That's what you expect in a final, of course, of this magnitude. I think that time, the first two times we've had replayed end, it was done with a deliberate fashion. That time, I don't think that was the result Jamie Hill was going for.
No, just having to run onto the jack and just followed it all the way out to the boundary line and disappeared. So the replay now, we've replayed the 6th, 7th and 8th ends that we've replayed. But Ben, if you have to wait till, I'll give you my gold card, Ben, and that'll make sure you'll get a discount on the buses back to Tauranga for you.
It's all weekend, isn't it? Gold card?
Certainly is.
Oh, there you go.
Thank you, Winston. So, Chad Grant now, who has lifted his performance the last few ends. Here's Mike Kernaghan, watches this one, which is going to pull up about a metre and a bit short. And now that the green will now be starting just to slow down fractionally as the sun and cloud cover and the sun moving away, and it'll just slow up fractionally as we see this bolt, my Bagley Harleys, and this is going to get an applause, and Gary Lawson draws right alongside the jack. So that's the target now for Chad Grant to draw to that bowl.
Nice little recovery from Bagley Howley on this replayed end. Of course, on that previous time round, the first time we played this 9th end, it was Chad Grant who had two in and around the head. His second is good after being short with the first. Bagley Howley now going to try and replicate his first, or better it if possible. Playing on the forehand side, going to come around the short Chad Grant bowl. Gary Lawson's interested, just finds a touch on the short Chad Grant bowl, so it doesn't change the situation. Grant holding shot for Kernaghan's 4. Now Kelvin Scott on the mat. This is the culmination of the Summerset National Fours. The men's final earlier today, it was Sandra Keith beating Wendy Green in the women's title decider. Gary Lawson barking out instructions to Caleb Hope. Young Southlander is impressed in his role as number 2. Playing behind Sheldon Bagri Howley, in front of Jamie Hill.
Stay there, mate. You're pretty high if you want to. Well, you're pretty close there. You call her. Yeah, stay there, mate.
Mike Kernaghan saying no, change, stay with it. Same hand, forehand side to Kelvin Scott. Number 2 for his quartet. It's just going to run by.
One shot to the Kernaghan combination.
I like that weight. Just don't take any off.
9-7. And of course the replay again of this 9th end. So that was me just cancelling dinner tonight at one of the leading restaurants in Tauranga, because we're sitting here. So, Harbourside, lovely restaurant on the Strand, but that's okay.
Did you say if you gave them a shout out and maybe not get charged a fee? Is that how this works?
They got a shout out.
Yeah, but you just gave them one. You couldn't book for a bit later.
Well, we'll just see how these things progress, Brendan, all right? As we watch now, Jamie Hill going to play up to the Sheldon Bagley Howley bowl, play with reaching weight. 9-7 to Mike Kernaghan after 8 ends. It's interesting, Brendan, that just seemed a bit of a changer in there. Jamie Hill's actually been struggling the last few ends. And then the Kernaghan side's managed to get bowls on the head, and that means now Gary Lawson's having to pull those big bowls out. Because the front two, Caleb Hope and Sheldon Bagley Howley, overall have been pretty impressive. We see this bowl of Lance Pascoe's, which is going to go by and it just sits in behind. So Gary Lawson saying, come on Jamie, make sure you're up, because his first bowl was short and narrow, and I'm sure Lawson would rather see the bowl go into the ditch, but at least get a chance to get to the bowl. And he's going to just go past. He gets a touch on it. Well played by Jamie Hill, and in fact would have made 2 shots out of that. Just got to turn onto the bowl, and his own sat there as well.
Yeah, wonderfully played from 1 down to 2 up. Very well executed by Jamie Hill. And he just mentioned that he had been, yes, Greece struggling a bit. Needed that one, and that certainly means that Gary Lawson will make his way to the mat. A bit more of a spring in his step.
And I'm sure we'll see Kernaghan, depending what his view is from the mat, but I'm sure he'll be, because I can see the Lance Pascoe bowls in behind the head towards the deep end under the number 2 there. And sure enough, Kernaghan's playing with that weight to get to, in between the port to get to the jack. And they knew straight away that was, they turned away on that. They knew that wasn't going to give Mike Kernaghan the result. You can see there on the camera where the 2 counting bowls are. What you can't quite see on the camera is where your screen is the back bowls, which is 2 Lance Pascoe bowls that are sitting right down towards the deep end of the rink, and that's the shot that Mike Kernaghan will certainly endeavour to play with his next. Lawson sure I'll be happy if we could move the jack just around the corner, and that would negate that shot for Mike Kernaghan. And here is now Gary Lawson playing down to, holding 2 shots, and if he can touch the jack around, no, it's going to go right under the head. So Mike Kernaghan, he'll attack this with ditch running weight, try and get the jack to the ditch. On the mat is the Northeast Valley current blackjack. He's playing this with more weight to get to the jack for sure. He's watching this closely as Kernaghan. Is it going to be
wide again?
Going wide past, and it will be.
So Gary Lawson, still a bowl to play. Trying to work out, how do I make this more than 2? Currently the Sheldon Baggery Howley bowl just to the right of the jack, and Jamie Hill bowl to the left of jack. The 2 shots. Chad Grant is the owner of the Whitey Green bowl just above that, which is the 3rd.
So it's interesting. See Mike Kernaghan walked up right to the other end and having a chat there with Lance Pascoe and Kelvin Scott. So here is that Gary Lawson bowl. Is it going to come back far enough to count? You can see it breaking in towards the head. Is it going to get all the way in? It's going to go by. Will it count? Don't think so. See what?
Just the 2, so we're all tied up. 9 apiece. Halfway through this men's 4s final. After 9 of the 18 ends, there are 3 replayed ends, and amongst that, we were all square now, Kevin Hicklin.
Well, every end at the moment has got to be played twice, doesn't it, to get a result? Because that's certainly what we've been seeing. But all locked up, 9 all, after 9 ends at the halfway mark in this final of the Summerset National Men's 4s at Mount Maunganui, which will draw to a close the Nationals calendar for the year. And we're certainly treated this afternoon to 2 of the best skips going around, of course, part of our blackjack side. And it's interesting, we have seen now, this is interesting.
Much shorter end.
This has really been shortened up, this one of right in front of us here in the commentary position, and very, very short end. In fact,
we've had a mostly quite regular diet of full length or 3/4 length ends, haven't we? This is wouldn't be that far beyond the minimum.
So Sheldon Baggery Howley, very good opening bowl from the young Gore lead, just in behind the jack on that backhand side. That's 2 wet. Chad Grant will go to as well on the backhand. With this change of length, looks to be on a good line as it goes past us here in the commentary position down towards the jack. Is it going to get all the way to the jack? Draw applause from Mike Kernaghan. So it's saying to Sheldon Baggery Howley, we've got the shots, change your hand, no sense in touching the bowl. Only needs a touch and a remote shot of it. So Sheldon Baggery Howley now, a very good opening bowl on this, the 10th end. Asking it to work hard, and it's going to finish jack level virtually. 2 good bowls really from the Gore lead. Chad Grant now on the backhand.
And no doubt valuable experience for Sheldon Baggery Howley as the lead. Every time he plays a 2, he jogs down the other end, stands alongside Gary Lawson, and here's how he calls the next 2 through. Caleb Hope and Jamie Hill.
So well played there by Chad Grant. Gary Lawson indicating that they are now 1 down from Chad Grant. Ran into the deliberately trying to get to the bowl, but did that. So here now is Caleb Hope, Gary Lawson looking at this now as it breaks towards the head. Is it going to get a touch on the jack? No, it doesn't. Mike Kernaghan just saying to Kelvin Scott, just draw down here. On the backhand is Kelvin Scott. Goes past us here. Just question, is it going to come back all the way? No, it doesn't. Mike Kernaghan quite happy though with where it went to and behind the head. So here is now Caleb Hope. How's the weight on this one? Just going to pull up under the head, about 1.5 meters short. So here now is Kelvin Scott trying to just get under where he to draw to the county bowls. Doesn't get all the way. Is he going to get far enough? Not sure. Don't think so. Alex Reid indicating it's still 1 to the Mike Kernaghan side. Jamie Hill trying to get to the jack and got a touch on the jack as well.
Unfortunately, all I think he's done is moved it towards the bowl of Chad Grant, perhaps. Or close between that bowl. There's a toucher. The Chad Grant bowl and the Sheldon Baggery Howley bowl. And Alex Reid, our first time Lollipop man, our marker. Never done it before.
No, yeah.
He's saying, where do I stand? So he's decided to stand off the rink to stay way out of the action.
So it's Pascoe now. He also gets a touch on the jack, moves it slightly behind the head. That'll certainly be the shot itself when it is.
It's great to see the current players as well doing marking and helping out. Yeah, Kirsten Edwards earlier in the women's final, defending champion on the women's fours.
There's Hill on the drive. The big drive goes past, goes wide. The big driver is Jamie Hill.
Had some power behind it, that's for sure. It's like he sort of awakes from his slumber. He's such a quiet,
he certainly is,
guy, and just so silky smooth with his draw. And then you're almost surprised every time he tries because it's so violent compared to everything else.
There's a good bowl from Pascoe here. Sits on what was his shot bowl, draws applause from his teammates, and that's 2. I'm sure we're going to see attack here from the Lawson and Gary Lawson. I'm sure he'll be attacking this at shorter end. Come down. I think it's reasonable, pretty quick weight. He is. He's on the haunches trying to look at the jack. Gets the jack clean. And another one. Killed.
He's just working out whether they pick them all up or whether they're going to bring them back. And Gary Law said, let's bring them back.
Or bring them back again?
Yeah, because he doesn't have to carry them. Gets all his teammates in opposition to carry the bowls back. I think he actually might have said, I'll help carry them back if you want. But another replayed end. That is the 4th replayed end. I've already forced Kevin Hickland to cancel his dinner reservations. How many others' night plans will be affected by this match? I hope you are enjoying our coverage wherever you may be. You obviously can watch it on YouTube, on Sky Sport Next. You can take it to the restaurant if you want to. Why not?
Yeah, well, that's certainly these players. And again, we've seen that short played in, and there's no skips. Lance Pascoe's down here questioning the length of this one. And I'm now going to see the umpire. I think we are. So Kelvin Scott, I'd call he's the grandfather of this. He knows he's been around a long time. He'll know whether it's up or not. And I think Kelvin Scott said, I'm happy with it.
Yeah, no need to bring the measure out. We've stalled enough of this game.
Yeah, we have. We've had enough of these sort of. So again, playing right down in front of us. On the backhand is Sheldon Begley-Howley. And another good opening bowl either. And Jamie Hill clapped then, so that's
most you're going to get out of him, and he's obviously down there at the moment because we've got both of the skips, on a bathroom
both
break.
on leave.
On leave.
So
maybe they've gone to change their dinner plans as
they
well.
must, yeah, they may well have. So it's Begley-Howley. He's had another good opening bowl. Another good bowl here from Sheldon Begley-Howley as Gary Lawson makes his way back, draws a toucher, gets applause from Gary Lawson. Jed Grant, Mike Kernaghan making his way back as well, down towards us here in the commentary position. Two good bowls from the lead. Has going to pull up short.
Gary Lawson's return, and about to re-enter the frame is Mike Kernaghan as well. Two skips are back. They got to keep the fluids up. Involved in a real marathon match here.
Sure is. He
actually have played near 13 ends, but we're actually playing the 10th. Replay 10th. Multiple replays. We got through the first, I think 5 ends.
Yeah, unscathed. So here now.
Replay started.
Kelvin Scott. Play down. Definitely. I'd say 3 down. Kelvin Scott reaching up to the counting bowls. Oh, Sheldon Begley-Howley, and how far is it coming back? Breaking all the way now. This is a great attempt here by, in fact, a toucher. And still 1 to the Lawson combination after a very, very good bowl there from Kelvin Scott.
Caleb Hope will look to reply. So playing on the backhand side. Just trying to sit on that bowl. In fact, slides through the gap just on that right-hand side of the screen, just to the right of the Begley-Howley bowl.
So saying now to Kelvin Scott, just endeavour to repeat your first bowl and sit on the shot bowl.
Yeah, it wasn't far away with his first. Just a slight adjustment needed. The weight was good.
It's going to fall under the line. But I'd say it's still a clear view. And it will be a clear view still down to the bowl for Lance Pascoe. You see now Jamie Hill.
Oh, much wider line.
So Mike Kernaghan just saying to Lance Pascoe, just draw down there on that backhand.
Just needed to watch the previous line from Kelvin Scott with his first bowl. Can he replicate that? It's the wide bowl of Sheldon Begley-Howley. Didn't get the line right.
So Gary Lawson not that concerned really. If Jamie Hill was to move the jack, that wouldn't be, he'd be quite happy with that, but it's going to, and he is in fact turned over the Scott bowl and may well have made 2 of it.
Yeah, certainly about to be indicated by Alex Reid. Our lollipop man, it is indeed 2.
So Lance Pascoe playing with weight to reach right to the jack. Is it breaking down towards the jack now to the shot bowl? Just all but got a touch on it. Very good effort. And in fact, it's cut the count back to the one, just the one now.
Some pretty good draw bowls, isn't it? Really, and that selection of 4 will be there or thereabouts.
Well, it's certainly not easy. The shorter ends because of the speed of the green. It's fingertip control. So Gary Lawson playing for his 14th New Zealand title as we come to the latter stages of the 10th end. On his forehand is Gary Lawson. Looks like it's going to stay on that wide side, and it will. Mike Kernaghan making his way back to the mat.
Decent crowd still in attendance, although some have, I think, made their way back to the club rooms for a bit of shelter from the wind.
Seagull's back.
Oh, he's just keeping a watching brief though this time, the Seagull. Not actually on the rink. I think he's staying a few rinks away. But he may be interested in returning to rink number 2.
He's making his way across here to see Mike Kernaghan, his mate. So Mike Kernaghan trying to get down to that bowl. What is the shot bowl? Again, just stay on that wide side, just fractionally. A lot of people have gone home for tea in Tauranga and Mount Maunganui. Well, Mount Maunganui especially, because there's a lot of us senior citizens that live in this area. So it's tea is at 5:15.
I think boomers is the
boomers. That's
the term. I think the Seagull does want to see Mike Kernaghan again. I think you're not too far wrong. He's just off screen. Oh no, he's been disturbed. All he wanted to do was see Mike again. Uncle Mike. Seagulls departed. I was chased away by Gary Lawson's shadow or what? There'll be no family reunion. Gary Lawson on the mat. Has he got the line right this time? Looks on the wide side again, so that's not going to change the situation. He does have the 2 back bowls though, does Gary Lawson now. There's 2 orange bowls, burnt orange. Pretty safe to say we're going to be completing this 10th end. It won't be replayed again.
So on the wide side, Mike Kernaghan turned his back straight away on that bowl.
So 1 to Gary Lawson. He reclaims the lead. 10-9 now after 10 of the 18 ends in this final event of the Summerset National Fours, the men's final. Already handed out 1 trophy today, that being the Women's Fours trophy in the 70th year. And Sandra Keith completing her personal set of national titles, winning her first Fours title along with Claire Hendra, who won her maiden national title, and another national title for Selena Smith and Taylor Bruce. Sandra Keith beating Wendy Green in the women's final, which we brought you earlier today. And Sheldon Bagri-Howley has gone short again, but maybe this time is it too short or just okay? I don't think there's much concern from Mike Kernaghan's Fours, so they may allow this, but another very short end. It must be not too far away from the bare minimum.
Yeah, it's all been agreed to by the 2 skips, and it certainly is shorter, playing up towards the Port of Tauranga end as we played this, the 11th end, with Gary Lawson leading Mike Kernaghan 10 shots to 9. Another good opening bowl from Sheldon Bagri-Howley, the lead for Gary Lawson with Caleb Hope, Jamie Hill and Gary Lawson, the skip, going for his 14th New Zealand title, up against the combination of Chad Grant, Kelvin Scott, Lance Pascoe and Mike Kernaghan. Of course, both of these skips very important part of the New Zealand blackjack side. So you watch this bowl of Chad Grant's going to get all the way to the jack. Just didn't need it. One more roll would have been right on top of it. So Sheldon Bagley-Howley now is certainly moved to these shorter ends. Has got pretty consistent in his draw. Gary Lawson seems to like this bowl of Sheldon Bagley-Howley's, just endeavouring to get past, and it does. Well played by the lead.
Seems very comfortable with these shorter ends. There's Bagley-Howley.
And Chad Grant going to pull up short. Real tight encounter this, as we expected to see. Although we did see Gary Lawson jump out to a 7-2 lead. And Mike Kernaghan with a 4, a 1 and a 2 clawed his way back to, in fact, get to the front. So Caleb Hope persevering on that backhand. Mike Kernaghan saying to Kelvin Scott, endeavour to beat the back bowl because that'll give second shot and could drift in underneath 4 shot. So here's the Kelvin Scott bowl, playing this very short end up toward the port end here, and Tauranga just going to go by, doesn't take much, fingertip weight control on this quick green. Gary Lawson looking closely at this bowl of Caleb Hope, but it was on the short side. Kernaghan saying to Kelvin Scott on that forehand side, can reach up to the bowl. Just the one, as you'll see.
Here's the lollipop man, Alex Reid. Here's the lollipop on screen.
Was this a better
Signaling
line?
to Gary Lawson.
No, just again, just going to hang out slightly on that wider side. I'm sure Gary Lawson won't mind here if Jamie Hill goes to the back of the head where there's that nest of 3. They'll be trying to draw another counter. He won't mind if it goes back fractionally. Here's now Jamie Hill. This is going to alter things. No, just this will be 2 for sure now. Yeah, change of hand now is the call from Mike Kernaghan. So here is Lance Pascoe on his backhand, trying to get down to Jamie Hill bowl, going to the jack, just goes by. Was always on the quick side though. So here's now Jamie Hill. Gary Lawson likes this bowl. As it breaks down, just going to go by, and he won't mind that at all. So Lance Pascoe just got to correct his weight by only about a metre. It was on a good line to the jack. Was the Pascoe bowl. As you watch this one breaking down towards the jack as well. It's going to go by outside the jack line. Just get Alex to check. I'm sure it's 2. To the Gary Lawson side. And Lawson will, I imagine, persevere. And just the 1 is the call from Alex with the lollipops. And this bowler, Gary Lawson, this is on a good line. This bowl is going to sit on the, it does, sits neatly on what is the shot bowl.
certainly make it 2 now. And yet, a lollipop's indicated by Alex Reid, telling us just that. Low 5 for Caleb Hope to his skip Lawson.
So Kernaghan, we'll see in a moment what weight he's going to play on that backhand. Trying to either sit on the Gary Lawson shot bolt or touch on the jack, and he's going for the bowls or the jack as Kernaghan gets the jack clean, and
it's not killed, I don't think, or is it killed? Is it killed?
No, let's have a look. I thought it had stayed in.
From my angle, it looks like it stayed in.
Put a mat on it.
I'll put a mat on it. We might be replaying this one again as well, Brendan. They reckon it's out.
I reckon it's in, but get the umpire, Gary.
Umpire. There comes the umpire now to have a look at it.
It's really close. So what was happening there is Caleb Hope put the mat right next to it to give Mike Kernaghan the line. He put himself on the outer boundary of the rink to see whether it was in from his end. It looks like he thought it was in. This is very close, so again, an umpire to make certain.
From our angle, and looking there on the monitor to me, Brenton, it does look to be in.
No, I think the lasers indicated it's in. Just. I think that we saw the margin indicated a very small amount. Gary Lawson, I don't think, was convinced it was in.
No, he wasn't actually.
He took a little look at the umpire. I was like, really? You sure?
Yeah, but the umpire said the laser's pretty accurate, you would think, on that line. So
yeah, Gary Lawson wanted replay number 5.
yeah, well, there's plenty of room to draw the shot here for Lawson as well. There's the Lance Pascoe bowl.
But Kernaghan is holding a couple, and this is, of course, the last Lawson bowl.
2 down. 2 to Mike Kernaghan.
Lawson just suggested maybe 3, but no, it's 2. And that's what Alex Reid indicated earlier.
So Gary Lawson, as we come to the end of the 11th end on his backhand, leading by 10 to 9. Down on the head. The important thing here for Gary Lawson, of course, though, is to make sure that his bowl comes back alive. That's the key thing. Doesn't hang outside. And it was gone too far, or you go too far under the line, and that'll be good enough for.
They just need it to hold up.
Shot. If it stays up,
it will stay up, I think.
Will it?
Will it? No. Just. And he's so very unhappy with that. Gary Lawson kicks his towel in disgust. Not once, but twice. That was what? A quarter of a roll?
Certainly was, and
too much.
Just
smallest of margins in this game.
As we said,
the jack in by the smallest of margins. That bowl rolling out by the smallest of margins.
As we said, Brenton, the important thing was Gary Lawson, because it's very hard sometimes, and Jack's right towards the ditch. You want to make sure he came alive. Now, I'm just wondering here whether Mike Kernaghan and co are looking at a bowl that amongst that nest. If they got 2, is there a bowl that they want to try and get out of the head? I'd have thought Mike Kernaghan would be happy to get another one.
If you get 3, you just draw to get a 3rd, wouldn't you?
And that's what Mike Kernaghan is doing. There he is on the mat, is Mike Kernaghan now on that backhand, knowing he doesn't actually have to draw the shot. As long as he comes alive past those front bowls, he'll have a counter, and that's exactly what he has done.
Wonderfully played. So 1, 2, nice and handy, and I believe there's a 3rd. Just looking to make sure. But 3 confirmed now. So Mike Kernaghan takes the lead back now after 11 of the 12 ends. Mike Kernaghan leading Gary Lawson 12 to 10 in this men's 4s final here at Bowls Mount Maunganui. The final match of these Summerset National Fours.
Well, of course, Gary Lawson was under the impression as well that the jack was out. He didn't think, even when the laser from the umpire came on, he was still convinced that the bowl was out. And as I said, the important thing for Lawson was that he came alive and with his bowl. And
well, that's the thing here. Obviously, very cruel. It did go into the ditch.
Absolutely, it was.
But he didn't need to be that close.
No, he did not. He just, you know.
The second shot, we could have been within 4 metres of the jack.
He'd be disappointed, and he certainly.
I think
showed
that's why
that.
the frustration, because he knows that he didn't have to push it to the limit.
And he did push it to the limit, and of course results in 3 shots, as it turns out now, for Mike Kernaghan.
You can understand with the competitiveness of it that he wanted to go and grab the shot.
And
himself.
the jack was delivered by Chad Grant, but of course went into the ditch, so it's relayed by the Lawson combination. And we're back to those shorter ends as we've now completed 11 of the 18 ends.
It's clear that Mike Kernaghan wants to play the longer ends, isn't he? And Gary Lawson wants to play the shorter ends. Clash of styles.
So we see this first bolt of Chad Grant's. It's a pretty handy opener, going to be lower the jack. Half a metre. Sheldon Bagley Howley, though, will come down on his backhand, where he's been very consistent on this length. Just question that weight as it gets towards the head now. Going to draw right in my good opening bowl from Sheldon Bagley Howley. Drew right in behind the jack. Chad Grant trying to improve by a metre with his second bowl on this, the 12th end, and just goes by. So here now is Sheldon Bagley Howley holding the shot. Gary Lawson now trailing Mike Kernaghan by 12 to 10 after 11 of the 18 ends in this final of the Summerset National Fours here at bowls at Mount Maunganui. Another good bowl from Sheldon Bagley Howley. Very good opening bowls. It's 2 shots as indicated very quickly by Alex Reid.
You've been impressed with how Alex Reid has performed in his debut with the Lollipops?
Done very well, actually. Done very well. You can see standing erect. Look at that, standing like a statue, raised high, other 2 red lollipops. And yes, look, he's still standing there holding them up. Well done,
Well,
Alex.
is he frozen now?
He might be.
Because he
Hasn't
very
moved.
statuesque.
It's very. Can someone check? He hasn't moved at all.
Oh, there we go.
No, it just moved. So here now is Caleb Hope. Going to sit on the bowl. Does it just go by? Might see a change in the lollipops. No, still 2 is the call from. So here now is Kelvin Scott. Trying to get down to those Sheldon Bagley Harley bowls. This is a good attempt here from the number 2 from Mike Kernaghan, and just fell out. And
Still enough for the shot though.
it is the one to Mike Kernaghan, leading 12-10. So Caleb Hope now will try and get down on that backhand, sit on that bowl. We're going to touch on the jack.
I think if it had fallen in the Kelvin Scott bowl, it would have been a touch-out. But fell out. Still
Here's
enough
the
for
weight.
shot.
No, it's not going to get there. That bowl of Caleb Hope's. So Mike Kernaghan saying that in fact they are 1 down, and it is the one now indicated by Alex to the.
Interesting. Yeah, certainly Alex Reid, first time round, thought it was good enough for the shot. And certainly looks more in line with the jack than the Bagley Howley bowl. judging by our picture. Well, that's made it certain, if there was any doubt about who held shot. So now certainly nestled alongside Bagri Howley Bowler to the right there.
So Jamie Hill hit, he's back, Mike's nephew. He's pretty keen to get involved.
Seagull just wandering onto the screen. Just wants a bit of family time.
So, saying to Jamie Hill, if you can turn the bowl out through the head, you can make 3 or 4 of it, but it looks to be on the wide side, and it is. So, saying to Lance Pesco is Mike Kernaghan, get onto us, get on the front of us, and turn the bolt into the head. So here is now Lance Pesco. I see his partner Mandy Boyd's taken up a position over on the far side of the ring, sitting there all on her own, watching this very, very tight encounter in this Kernaghan-Lawson final. Everything that we expected, Brenda, wasn't it?
Well, we knew it was going to be tight, didn't we, between these two. Multiple national champions, of course. Lawson, the record holder with 13. Kernaghan with more than 5.
What Gary Lawson now is looking at, I think he can still make 3 of this to get to the bowl. And behind the head, Kelvin Scott bowl. Sheldon Bagley Howley down there examining it as well. Always looking for shots. There's Gary Lawson when he can gate slightly ajar. You'll see Lawson.
He certainly sees things that some others don't. Never content with just the one.
Here is Jamie Hill playing with weight to get down to where he wanted to get to the shot bowl. Ran into the, what was the bowl of Lance Pesco's. And more than likely now, it's still holding the shot, but more than likely negates that shot, which may well have been there because there's now 2 bowls of Mike Kernaghan's on the head. There's that seagull, it's amazing, just keeps coming back. Every time it goes again, we'll come back to see.
Well, every time Mike Kernaghan turns his back, he goes, all right, I'm off.
So we can't quite see the head at present, but it's right out in front of me here. And I'll keep informed as Kernaghan now playing with weight to try and get down with reaching weight to get down to what is the shot bowl. But this is going to pull up short. Well, Kernaghan may have played that with a wee bit more weight. Gary Lawson still looking to try and, there's 2 bowls in there, Kelvin Scott bowl and a Lance Pesco bowl. Mike Kernaghan kicks the bowl back for 12-10. Mike Kernaghan leading. Gary Lawson holding the shot as we come to the end of the 12th end. And he's certainly looking for that shot that we spoke about. Brendan trying to get, and turns them over.
Executed well. I think he's grabbed the second shot.
3
Maybe
down.
even 3, yeah, with that. There's that bowl there from Jamie Hill as well. That black bowl, which is probably the 3rd. So that's what indicated anyway by Kelvin Scott.
Mike Kernaghan on the charge, trying to get to that shot bowl. And here we go.
Get a kill. Here we go again. Kill number 5. And we will replay the 12th end.
Has Alex counted how many kills there's been as well? Does he do that?
Oh, I'd hope so. I've counted at 5. Is it?
Yeah, it would be about. Yeah, it would be around that.
Pretty sure it's the 5th killed end. Let's see. Replay of this.
So Alex quite happy because they're actually going to play
it goes.
Down this way again, you see the kill from Mike Kernaghan. To at least the call was from Kelvin Scott that they were in fact 3 down.
He's going to get tired, Alex Reid.
Yeah, he's
a lot of time standing up.
Well, he's having a little sort of.
We're approaching 2.5 hours of this match. He was late to start, though.
He missed an end.
He missed the start time.
And then he asked us what to do.
But saying that, he's been pretty professional.
Very good.
Might have debut as a lollipop man, maybe a career in lollipop business.
So here now, the length straight away has been on the replay. We're seeing Chad Grant on the backhand as we play the replay again of N12. And a pretty good opening bowl here from Chad Grant. How far is it going to go by? It goes by a good couple of metre and a half.
Yeah, so by my calculation, we should be playing N17 now.
Yeah, that would be, yes. But we're a long way away from N17. Yeah.
Yeah, of course, no time limit. We must remind you, in post-section play, there was a time limit in section play, 3 hours for a match, which we would be, you know, still some half an hour away from.
But we certainly wouldn't be finishing.
No, we would not. But we will be finishing here. And who knows? It's still so tight. We might be going to an extra end as well to decide this match. Well, dare I say it.
Here comes Chad Grant. Just needs to get some draw on the bowl now to the centre line. And he will do, but still be Sheldon Bagley-Howley holding shot. Played very well, Sheldon Bagley-Howley. Actually, he's been very impressive off the front. And here's the other difference with this, Brendan. Sheldon Bagley-Howley has spent most of his time skipping and playing at the back end of the team. As we talk about where the opportunities lie right now within the New Zealand framework, it's players off the front. You know, we've got the LA Forsyths, we've got Gary Lawson, we've got Shannon McElroy. And so the back end's pretty well covered. It's players at the front that we really sort of, that's where they have to start off from. You know, we saw, for example, Chris Leaf in the Māori Nations and that Trans-Tasman, you know, a committed lead and acquitted himself very, very well in those international events. So it's good for these guys to move out of the back end positions of skipping and playing three in Caleb Hope and Sheldon Bagley-Howley and move into the front of the side. That's where the best opportunities are going to be. Now, Sheldon Bagley-Howley is not going to get picked to play skip for New Zealand anytime soon. So their best opportunities are playing with the leading players and playing at the front end of the forward side. Of course, we saw Seamus Curtin as well, who did play three for Shannon McElroy, defeated, of course, by Mike Kernaghan in that semi-final earlier on. And of course, he'll return to Australia, where he's playing for the Gorillas, as they're known, in the New South Wales Premier League, which got underway, in fact, yesterday. So they're really struggling, really, here with their weight, because we had a change of, we're in that in-between length. It's not the 2 metre mark, or it's not really short, which we've been playing a number of ends recently. It's sort of 3/4, I'd say. So here now's Lance Pascoe, definitely down on the head, on his backhand. Mike Kernaghan standing there very statue-like, and
yeah, Gary Lawson there just trying to get into the game, I think. Get Jamie Hill up.
So that's 2 shots to the Kernaghan combination as the call from Alex Reid, and as Brenton rightly said, encouraging Jamie Hill to get up, you know, to G him up.
Yeah, just inside. Kelvin's this time, mate.
So you heard the call there from Mike Kernaghan, just get inside the Kelvin Scott bowl, which you can't quite see at present. It's out to the right-hand side of Mike Kernaghan. There you'll see it there, the Kelvin Scott bowl. And it breaks down towards the head now. And just went by, didn't get a touch on the jack.
Very close though. Very unfortunate there. Great effort from Lance Pascoe.
One to the Lawson combination. And he's saying that you can make 3 of this, Jamie. Looks to be on the narrow side though. Brendan needs to get some luck and doesn't.
That's indicating Alex Reid that Gary Lawson holding 1. As the skips now change over. Gary Lawson might just stay and inspect the head. Wait for Mike Kernaghan to play the first of this replayed 12th end.
Still a good crowd sitting around here at the enjoying some cold refreshments.
While others warm up with some warmer refreshments.
Yes, I see that. Here's Mike Kernaghan now trying to get down to where the shot bowl is. I like this bowl as it breaks in towards the jack now. Does the Mike Kernaghan bowl. Draws right in behind the jack. That'll be the shot from Mike Kernaghan. Well played. Just drew neatly under that front bowl.
That's why Gary Lawson stayed there to inspect the head, because he knew, he knows what Mike Kernaghan's going to bowl off. He knew that he was most likely going to draw the shot. So you have to wait and see what the head looked like. And he's slowly making his way back to the mat.
Well, he'll certainly be playing to reach the bowl. And you can see there on your monitor, I think he's virtually forced to play it on the backhand. I don't think there's enough line underneath on the forehand to get down to the Mike Kernaghan bowl. He is going to the forehand, have to play it quick with weight, and he is playing it with plenty of weight to endeavour to get underneath, but of course going to get that line right. Going to hang on that wider side, very tight line on that forehand side. Mike Kernaghan will feel quite confident now, drawing again down on that backhand, because I'm sure for Gary Lawson to get the result, needs to tighten that line up. Mike Kernaghan leading 12-10, 12-10 after 11 of 18 ends. Look on the screen there, the patching on the green, that's, you can see the starweed, it's certainly very prominent. Here is now Kernaghan on his backhand after drawing a very, very good shot with his first. And Lance Pascoe under the head.
It's not going to count. So it's just 1 at the moment. Lawson still has a second to play though.
Well, it depends what his line looks from the mat. That's the big thing. And you would think if he's going to play the forehand with weight, he's got to play with a lot of weight to get under it to the bowl. Well, he's saying, Sheldon Bagley-Howley indicating to get down on that forehand side to turn his bowl in. Well, on that basis, it would be, you would think, of equal opportunity for Lawson to actually drive on the other hand to get directly to the shot bowl.
And the kill again?
No, because he's playing on the forehand, so that makes it less likely of that. And it's on its way, so it's not going to be killed. It's going to have to come back from there. It's coming back now. It's going to come back far enough.
No, it's not. So
No,
it's
it's
just going
not.
to be the 1 to Mike Kernaghan. So 3-shot advantage, and we have finally got through the second segment of this men's fours final. Mike Kernaghan now leading 13-10 over Gary Lawson after 12 of the 18 ends. And because we've had multiple replays, Kevin Hicklin, it feels like an age since after 6 ends it was 7-6.
7-6 to Gary Lawson. And then now after 12.
So 7-3 on the second 6 to Mike Kernaghan.
Now the big, of course, you got to remember in that first 6 ends we saw Mike Kernaghan pick up that 4 as well, because like he was 7-2 behind and picked that 4 up. So, but that was a long time ago. Jack's been delivered as we play end 13.
Yeah, this is
people sitting out here, they're enjoying themselves. They've got some Sauvignon Blanc and Chardonnay and other. Some alongside us have got hot coffee.
This is all the stuff you could have had at your restaurant booking if you hadn't cancelled it, Kevin.
Well, yeah, certainly didn't want to miss this encounter, that's for sure. And you and I, Brent, have had the opportunity and pleasure of watching these guys play many internationals over the last 2 years, and they're certainly, along with Shannon McElroy and Ali Forsyth and of course Andrew Kelly, I think a very, very strong New Zealand men's side as we go towards the World Champs, and we've enjoyed watching them to date, and I'm sure we'll enjoy them as much when we get to the World Championships come May, along with our women's side on the Gold Coast. And of course we'll have Ben and Tamara there as well, as they looking after the orchestra.
Yeah, plenty more events to come before then as well. North, South, followed quickly by the National Winter Centre down in Wellington. Got the New Zealand secondary schools. Got the Interclub Sevens, and then the Bowls 3-5 National Winter Club as well. So a number of events to come before we even get to the World Bowls Championships. And we'll be bringing those all to you on Sky Sport next. So there's your home of bowls.
And yeah, a big thank you to Sky for their support. Certainly got in behind bowls with, of course, the Bowls 3-5, and now with Sky Sport next. It's great to have their support and their continued support, and that's appreciated by us all. And you, the viewers at home as well, where you've got the opportunity to watch this live action on a very regular basis throughout the summer of bowls. 13-10, Mike Kernaghan now leading Gary Lawson as we play the 13th end. As we watch the bowl of Caleb Hope break towards the head. It's 3 shots to the Lawson combination at this point because of the short bowls there. So saying to Kelvin Scott, try and draw around, playing on that backhand side, trying to get up, has to get through this port. If he gets through the port, he'll get to the jack or near to the jack, and he does. Well played by Kelvin Scott, certainly threaded in between 2 bowls on the backhand and drew the shot. Well played.
Mike Kernaghan shakes his hand. Very impressed with that one. You won't get the high fives from Mike Kernaghan. Just a simple shake of the hand. That means a lot.
Does. See now this bowl, Caleb Hope's going to fall short. Of course, just Mike Kernaghan and Gary Lawson will be well aware of this. That shadow starting to come at there now. Sun getting lower. Start to just slow down by a metre or so. That's what happens. So here now is Lance Pascoe with the shot being held by the Lawson, by the Kernaghan combination. Lance Pascoe now trying to get in and around these bowls. Has he got the weight to get all the way through the port? No, he hasn't. Gary Lawson saying to Jamie Hill, come on, draw up through our bowls with weight, play that meter to get a move one of those bowls. Of course, what he's looking for as well, he doesn't get the shot to open things up a bit. Here is now the Jamie Hill bowl, turns this Sheldon Bagley Howley bowl right onto the jack, and that'll make one of it. Well played by Jamie Hill.
Well, we mentioned it earlier today when the sun was coming from the absolute direction, coming from the east in the morning. It was in the players' eyes, and now women's fours semi-final, now in this men's fours final. Sun coming from the west, very much the players' eyes as they look to play towards the port end.
And I think we're seeing the indication from Mike Kernaghan to play with, I think, weight through on the forehand side to that shot bowl. We'll see in a moment. So here's Lance Pascoe on the mat, trying to play through to that shot bowl. That's certainly what he's doing, as we indicate he may well do. And now it could be worse, in fact, because I can just see the two. It is 2 to the Gary Lawson side.
And the Bagley Howley bowls remained around the area.
Wasn't far off, though, was Lance Pascoe. It was a pretty good attempt. As we see that Jamie Hill bowl just breaking in underneath the head, and well, more than likely that would make 3 of it.
Yeah, that's
it
what
is.
Alex Reid is quick to indicate with the lollipops. So Lawson now holding 3 as the skips now make their way to the mat. Kernaghan will be first to play.
He'll be on the draw, or Mike Kernaghan. Lance Pascoe just moving aside, away from the front of the camera. So we'll see now Mike Kernaghan endeavouring to draw the shot, 3 down. On his forehand is Mike Kernaghan. He's looking at this, chasing this bowl. Got to get past, won't, hasn't got the weight to get all the way past. Just needed a fraction more.
Very close.
And one more roll. It looks like it's just the one now. It is.
Has cut it to 1, but it was very close to grabbing the shot.
Sheldon Bagley Howley taking over the spot of number 3 now, giving the instructions to Jamie Hill. Just shrug his shoulders and say, away you go, lad. So here is Lawson now on the back end, holding the 1, as the indication was from our marker, and also from Sheldon Bagley Howley. Is going to come back far enough. No, it's not. Mike Kernaghan now will just try and beat his own bowl on that forehand. Drew's second shot was 3 down, leading 13-10 as we come to the end of the 13th end of 18. Three little the children on the far side, 3 little girls sitting over there very quietly watching this as Kernaghan now on its way. Looks to have more weight, does this bowl of Mike Kernaghan, as it goes past us, trying to get down to his own bowl, drawing past to get to the shot. Will it get around for shot? It's a great effort by Mike Kernaghan, and
falls in. Is that the shot?
Still 1 is the indication from Alex Reid.
Not quite. Great effort. Yeah, all ages watching the National Men's Fours final. It's great to see.
Sitting there very quietly and obediently enjoying the sunshine, and I've had enough.
Fame got to them.
Yeah. One solitary, 3 became 1 very quickly. There's Gary Lawson now holding 1 as was indicated by our marker. And that's what it will remain as 1. It's 13-11 now, 13-11 as we go into the 14th end. We start to climb down the board, I'm sure.
Yeah, end starting to run out now, of course. 13-11 Kernaghan over Lawson. 5 ends remaining in this contest. Of course, we have had 5 replays, so in reality, we're in the 19th end now.
So
Start.
The mat's been brought right up by by Sheldon Bagley Harley. So we'll see the jack will be delivered down towards the 2 metre mark. Is that mat quite some distance up the green, and it's going to be fine. Or is it? I don't know. Questioning, the straightening, the questioning, any movement from the Kernaghan side? Yes, I thought there would be. Kelvin Scott and the check seems to be agreed. It's up. So here is now Sheldon Bagley Harley on his backhand, been his favourite, his favoured hand. Good opening bowl from Sheldon Bagley Harley. And
yeah, obviously a change in tactic, isn't it, Kevin? Because previously it was like Kernaghan who was looking to go closer to the 2 metre mark. Obviously this isn't towards the 2 metre mark, but I think that was the plan, bringing the mat all the way up.
Certainly is. So Chad Grant trying to just get to the Sheldon Bagley Harley bowl, just drops past on the outside of it. So we've now got 5 little ones sitting over there now. The audience over there's grown from the. So here is Sheldon Bagley Harley now. Gonna finish just under jack level. Chad Grant now will try to sit inside that of the Sheldon Bagley Harley bowl on that backhand side. Just question, might be on the wide side. And Gary Lawson saying, get as close as you can. 2 shots to Sheldon Bagley Harley. There's Caleb Hope now from Gore. The front 2 have been played pretty consistently actually for Gary Lawson. Sits alongside the jack, does Caleb Hope bowl. Just need Sheldon Bagley Harley to move 1.
Yeah, certainly another bowl right in front of him. There you go. Sheldon Bagley Harley bowl.
Yeah, Kelvin Scott just going to fractionally short of where he wanted to be. So saying to Caleb Hope, if you drag the jack, that's fine. Because there's certain I'll be trying to reach that bowl. Will the Mike Kernaghan side? 13-11. As we watch this second bowl of Caleb's hopes. Go in behind the head. They'll be happy enough with that. Holding 2. Kelvin Scott Looks to be on that wide side. Is it Kernaghan looking at it, but always looked to be on that wider side, out of the hand, and it is. Jamie Hill to come to end 14 of 18. This too looks to be, he's got a good drawing bowl, has Jamie Hill. It's going to go by. 2 and a look was the call from Mike Kernaghan. 3 as Alex Reid's got up, so saying to Lance Pascoe, draw one close.
Yeah, need something here, Mike Kernaghan. Gary Lawson's quartet dictating off the front.
So had a good line, just a metre and a bit of weight. Jamie Hill, as Gary Lawson just said to him, take a metre of weight off. 13-11 to Mike Kernaghan. And we'll see Alex Reid got 3 lollipops out, so we watch this now. Lance Pascoe having to try to draw to these counting bowls.
If it sits on that one, it might cut it to just 2.
May well fell in.
So should just be the Caleb Hope and Sheldon Baggery Howley bowls, which are counting for Lawson as he strides to the mat.
And he certainly want to endeavour to put more bowls. He'd rather beat on the other side of the head, because if it happens that target up, like Kernaghan certainly will play with reaching weight. And Lawson, yeah, on his backhand. Breaking nicely towards the head, this bowl of Lawson's. This looks pretty handy, this bowl. And I'm picking that'll count, and it does. So the shot now for Mike Kernaghan, one would think. May elect to try and play down on his forehand, or to play with reaching weight on the backhand and nestle in amongst those 3, which is more than likely the higher percentage bowl. So here is the Mike Kernaghan now on the mat, and he's going at it with plenty. And
another kill.
Another kill. We'll replay this end as well.
And
6
time. I think we're going to pick the bowls up again. Have a wry smile from Mike Kernaghan. What would have been the 19th end if we hadn't had so many replays. So this will be the 6th replay.
The sun's still well up in the sky.
As we
The sun's still well up in the sky.
fast approach 3 hours of game time. Of course, if this was section play, there would be a 3-hour time limit, but it's not the case in post-section, and it will not be the case in this men's title decider, and rightly so. So we will replay the 14th end. And just checking the length again. There's Mike Kernaghan. Maybe I think he's asked for the measure this time. As they brought the mat up, and this time the umpire is going to come out to do the measure to see if it is the minimum length, or whether Sheldon Baggery Howley will be giving up the jack, and you can imagine that they'd want to have a fuller length end. Mike Kernaghan, if they do manage to pick up the jack here, it is deemed to be less than the minimum.
And going down to the jack now. Mike Kernaghan standing close by to the umpire, and up by a mere couple of inches, indicating that's fine. Beautifully judged was the call from Mike Kernaghan. It was up by a couple of inches.
Yeah, if that, I think an inch maybe at most.
So, a replay of end 14 with Mike Kernaghan, his side of Chad Grant, Kelvin Scott, Lance Pascoe, leading the Gary Lawson combination of Sheldon Baggy, Howley, Caleb Hope, Jamie Hill and Gary Lawson by 13 shots to 11. Earlier, of course, we saw the Mike Kernaghan side defeat Shannon McElroy in one semi-final, and Gary Lawson defeated Mike Carroll in the Stokes Valley side, beat him in the other semi-final. And we always knew that we were going to have, well, I didn't think such a long game, but it was certainly always going to be a very tight encounter of these two blackjack players. And remember, Lawson, of course, winner of 13 New Zealand titles already to date. And I'm good opening bowl here, toucher from Chad Grant, and I think this would be Mike Kernaghan's 8th. I'm not 100% sure, but it's getting up there for sure. As here is now Sheldon Bigley Harley.
You've got to remember as well, Mike Kernaghan's quartet has been playing since 8:30 this morning.
They certainly have.
So obviously haven't been on the green the entire time.
Great bowl.
For the better part of 10 hours they have been.
Sheldon Bigley Howley, who has been impressive off the front of the Gary Lawson side, drew right alongside the bowl of Chad Grant's, which is the shot.
So you'd expect Gary Lawson's four to be the fresher of the two. They didn't play their quarter-final this morning. They played it last night, Tauranga Domain. So they didn't start playing until shortly after midday. And they played their semi-final. It went over Mike Carroll, as Kevin just mentioned. So a longer day for Mike Kernaghan's quartet, and you'd think that fresher younger legs as well when you've got Sheldon Bagry Howley and Caleb Hope.
So Gary Lawson saying to Caleb Hope, draw down through the bowl, the Chad Grant bowl, which is sitting alongside the jack, draw down through it, move the bowl, move the jack, and just, you'll see it just floating past with a yard of weight through the head, missed underneath the line.
I suppose on the flip side of that, Kevin, is who's got the better mental conditioning, because maybe that's when you swing it more in the favour of the more experienced players, the likes of Gary Lawson, Mike Kernaghan, of course, Kelvin Scott.
Well, yeah, the back end of these sides are both very, very experienced, and you know, because it's going to be, it looks like it's going to be anyone's game right to the 18th. So now Jamie Hill or Caleb Hope play his second bowl, and again trying to get him to play down like he did with his first, trying to get through to the shot bowl. It's on a good line. This bowl of Caleb Hope's, it's breaking its way down towards the head, trying to get to the Chad Grant bowl. Had a weight on, but goes by. And I heard Mike Kernaghan say, I don't care if you give it away. He just really wants to get another bowl on the head. So here is Kelvin Scott trying to get past to give Mike Kernaghan another bowl, and on the head, over the head, because we know that Jamie Hill he'll play that forehand reaching shot that Gary Lawson's been looking for, and it's going to hang on that wide side with the weight. So now Mike Kernaghan saying, right, draw over here, Lance Pascoe. Game of chess going on here now, because Gary Lawson's pretty much declared what shot they're going to play.
Yeah, so wanted some covered and neat amongst these two bowls.
Gary Lawson just saying to Jamie Hill, you'll get it, mate. So we'll see. Jamie Hill started playing bowls at Okahu Bay about 10 or 11 years of age. Now going to disappear under the head with weight.
An overcorrection there, so too wide with the first, narrow with the second.
It's Jamie's father, Neville, also played for New Zealand. So there's certainly a great bowling family. And the sister Kirsty, she's in the Auckland side. That will play in the Intercenter in a couple of weeks' time in Wellington. So it's 1-2 the Kernaghan side.
There's another generation of Hills, isn't there?
Yes, there is. Kirsty's son. He's there's the
Brains Trust.
Brains Trust. They're all there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Bowls New Zealand.
I think they're talking.
Cameron holding court.
We're talking about pay rises or something.
I reckon they're talking about replayed ends.
Yeah, they could be. Yeah. So they are laughing, so it can't be about pay rises. So here is Gary Lawson. He'll play down, trying to turn the shot bowl. Chad Grant bowl out of the head. He's playing it with the lock. He's playing it pretty quick to get to it. And gets the jack as well. Takes it all the way back. And is that the Jamie Hill bowl back there? No, it's in fact it'd be Lance Pascoe bowl back there. So 1-2 the side of the Mike Kernaghan side as Mike Kernaghan makes his way back to the mat.
Replaying the 14th end of 18. Our 6th replayed end. What has been an enthralling, hard-fought contest, as we thought it would be, between these two decorated players, both nationally and internationally, and Gary Lawson and Mike Kernaghan.
So Kernaghan just trying to get under the bowl to get down to the jack.
Running into Kelvin Scott bowl, unable to promote that to make it 2, still holding 1. There's Kernaghan. Lawson has 1 to play. So does his opposite. Makes his way half up the green. And then stalls. Assessing the situation from there. Looking at exactly what to play, and he wants to have another chat.
So, can you see a number option on there?
It's hard to see a number because there's not much past the jack. Well, there's nothing past the jack, and yeah, there's one level with the jack, and that being Lance Pascoe's.
So, I've just heard Gary Lawson saying I'm going to search up through there, may get the...
You get the right part through Hilly, you might spin yourself through. Do you like it?
Well, that conversation going on. So we're going to see Lawson endeavour to try and punch through, get to the jack. 1 down. There's Gary Lawson, 13-11. Mike Kernaghan leading. It's on its way. Is that Lawson bowl? We'll see as it breaks its way down now. Runs into short bowls. Turns another one bowl over. And that could well be 2 now.
Yeah, maybe even 3. Certainly that white bowl out to the left, pretty certain that is a
Kelvin Scott bowl.
Kelvin Scott. It's just whether this other white bowl here is a Kelvin Scott bowl as well, or whether that's the bowl of Caleb Hope.
So in 14, 13-11, holding 2. This could be Mike Kernaghan draw another one here. Just a little buffer as we head down the home run. 2 is clearly indicated by Alex Reid. And Mike Kernaghan having to thread the needle through a whole lot of bowls to get, he's on a good line, has to get underneath this bowl to get to the counting area. Doesn't. And there's 2. Heard the call there from the players.
So 4-shot advantage now for Mike Kernaghan after the replayed 14th end, 15-11. Now leading Gary Lawson. with 4 ends remaining in this men's final here at the Summerset National Fours at Bowls at Mount Maunganui, where the sun is getting lower and lower into the sky.
So Jack's been delivered on N15. We've certainly been going a while, 6:45 around about now.
Yeah, just over 3 hours been going. And depending on how many more replayed ends.
Well, the good chance is going to be at least one, isn't there?
Say so.
Law of averages of what we've seen so far.
Well,
We've had
six out of the 14 have been replayed.
So there will be another killed end at some stage between here and 18. Chad Grant draws his first bowl, just slightly jack low, but still on a good line into the jack. 3/4 length head. And it's now Sheldon Bagley Harley, who has been pretty impressively this afternoon in this final, just endeavouring to get past the bowl of the Chad Grant bowl, and does, and make shot of it. So Alex is quite busy up there. It's taking taking a few photos, but now it's 4 Alex. So here now it's Sheldon Bagley Howley. Gary Lawson likes his bowls. It breaks around, just feathers the bowl. And we'll see quickly from Alex now. He'll indicate in but a moment who's got definitely 2. It is 2. So, one shot to the Gary Lawson side. Bowl just got knocked up there by Kelvin Scott. Reduces it to 1 in this final of the Summerset National Fours here at Mount Maunganui, where it's 15-11 to Mike Kernaghan after 14 of 18 ends. It's decided.
Close to shot now, mate. Same bowl.
Chad Grant, Kelvin Scott, Lance Pascoe, Mike Kernaghan. And they're playing, of course, Sheldon Bagley Howley, Caleb Hope, Jamie Hill, and Gary Lawson. And it is Gary Lawson holding 1 on this, the 15th end, with Mike Kernaghan leading by 15 shots to 11. As we see, the Kelvin Scott bowl looks to be on a pretty good line as it's breaking down underneath the head. And that'll be the shot, no doubt about that. That's the shot. Kelvin Scott just slid underneath, sitting slightly jack low, but definitely the shot. So we'll see now. I would imagine Caleb Hope on that favoured backhand of his, trying to get underneath to that of the shot bowl or the jack, with a Sheldon Bagley Howley bowl sitting just in behind the head. He's going to go past, in fact, got a touch onto the bowl, might have made 2 of it now for the Kernaghan side, because it moved the jack in the middle and it has made 2 of it, but there's a clear open vision there for Gary Lawson on that backhand drag to the jack. So here is now Lance Pascoe playing on his forehand. He'll certainly want to try and get in behind the head with holding 2 shots. As Mike Kernaghan's on the wide side. We'll now see Jamie Hill. He'll certainly hunt down on that backhand side to get a touch to the jack. That bowl's dead, and there's, as we said, is the call from Gary Lawson to draw down to Jamie Hill on that backhand to get a touch on the jack. Sheldon Bagley Howley bowl sitting, waiting. This looks on a good line, this bowl here. Jamie Hill's endeavouring to get to the jack. He's just going to get the jack. Got a touch on it, moved it right out to the side. And I think it's still alive. Hasn't been killed, that one, but it's sitting out towards the boundary peg, and it'll be 1-2. Definitely the one bowl to Sheldon Bagley Howley. Bowled out to the sides, the shot bowl. Lance Pascoe now trying to draw to that jack, which has moved right off the line. This looks a good bowl here from Lance Pascoe. How far is it going to run? Towards the back of the rink. Is it going to stay up? Yes, it will. And still 1-2 the Lawson combination.
Yeah, previous bowl, of course, stays in play, even though it is in the ditch because it was a toucher. Move the jack out to the left side. You can't see it on screen, unfortunately. It's in front of Mike Kernaghan.
So 15th end. The skip's about to
There you see it.
play. Where that bowl, in fact, will come alive. That bowl of Jamie Hill's. The indication is that it's out. It's a bowl. It looks as though it is out, and it is. Didn't come alive. Did the Jamie Hill bowl?
Yeah, Sheldon Bagley Howley, I think, was right on that boundary line. Indicated that was not in play. Jamie Hill bowl.
So Kernaghan, Mike Kernaghan now with the jack right out towards the side peg. There you can see it clearly there, right out on the side, and Kernaghan, one of the masters of the draw shot. Green note certainly tightening up and changing now as and he's not going to come alive either. Mike Kernaghan, and did. So now this, it may look easy, but it's certainly not, because they're playing in unplayed territory, and the jack, of course, is sitting just inside the peg, and the indication it's the one shot to Gary Lawson's side as they trail 15-11. As we come to the back end of the 15th end, he'll play his first bowl of 2.
Yeah, I suppose worried about is if you play on the backhand side, you might run into the short bowls. So Lawson as well playing on his forehand, just hoping to come back into the rink. He needs to come inside the jack, and he's going to be, I think, stuck out as well. Stuck out wide, so it's another one that's going to be non-counting. That's 3 in a row now. Jamie Hill, Mike Kernaghan and Gary Lawson.
So the line for Mike Kernaghan,
It's obviously very tricky.
it is. It's a yard. It's really to try and draw it inside the line, and this looks a better width bowl. This bowl of, is it going to come back? This bowl of Mike Kernaghan's, it's certainly on a better line, and he likes it. It's got to finish dead on the line to the jack to be shot.
I don't know if it is enough. Is it, well, obviously our angle is coming from the side, so it's not exactly showing it accurately. So they seem convinced it's in. There's been no complaints from the opposition, so that's a tremendous bowl.
I think you'll see Lawson might well play with weight to try and remove that. What is the shot bowl of Mike Kernaghan's? And he's on the drive is Gary Lawson, trying to get to that Gary Lawson bowl on the backhand. Drive goes by.
And so it will be Mike Kernaghan. Another to Mike Kernaghan. Wonderfully won with that beautiful draw shot. We saw playing to his strength there, Mike Kernaghan. Lawson likewise playing aggressively with weight, but unable to get rid of that Kernaghan bowl. So it's 16-11 now.
There's a big bowl,
After
really.
15 ends.
Well, that was only the one shot at that point in time, Brendan. It was a big bowl because it's another end gone. We score one, just broadens that gap slightly, and very difficult draw line they had to play to. But Kernaghan, as we know, an expert on the draw, and that was the right shot for Gary Lawson to play the drive to try and get to that the shot bowl. So 3 to go. 16-11 to Mike Kernaghan, Lance Pascoe, Kelvin Scott and Chad Grant. Of course, Chad Grant and Lance Pascoe striving for their first national title, as is Caleb Hope and Sheldon Bagley Howley in the Gary Lawson side. So a lot to play for these players. 16-11 to Gary Lawson, to Mike Kernaghan, as we play the 16th end of 18. And Sheldon Bagley Howley going to draw the shot again. He's been very impressive, has the young Gore lead.
Yeah, more often than not, he's got the better of his opposite, Chad Grant. Really, Mike Kernaghan's been pretty exceptional, because a lot of the time he's been the one who's come up with the shot for his quartet.
Certainly has. He certainly had to, especially those early stages when, of course, they were 7-2 down, and Kernaghan was called on in a big way. Good bowl there, though, from Chad Grant. Won't be shot, though, but
Minion Shield has made its way out of bowls Mount Maunganui and has now made its way greenside as well. Trophy first awarded back in 1888.
It's a great trophy.
That was before any of us were born, surprisingly.
Yeah, just. So, Sheldon Bagley Howley just dropping by with weight, but definitely holding the shot as we play in 16 of 18 in this final of the Summerset National Fours here at Mount Maunganui. And this, of course, will bring to a close the National Championships. Remembering the singles and pairs were played in Christchurch at Papanui and earlier on in January. And there's a good bowl here coming in from Kelvin Scott. This is going to get close to the shot. Bowl sits on the bowl of Sheldon Bagley Howley's.
Well, Kelvin Scott has had his moments, hasn't he? Come up with some big bowls for Kernaghan.
So Gary Lawson saying to Sheldon Bagley Howley, you can reach up to the bowl, you can make two of it. How far is it going to come back? It's certainly got a good line coming into that shot that Gary Lawson called, and going to finish jack level. He won't mind that at all. Another bowl on the head for Lawson to play to, and I'm sure the next one he'll ask for Caleb Hope to perhaps play with another yard of weight. So Kelvin Scott endeavouring to replicate his first bowl, where he drew the shot for his skip, but he's going to be under the line. And yeah, that just inside that last bowl of Kelvin Scott actually gives Caleb Hope a good line into the jack or shot bowl. The shot bowl is obviously what he wants. It's on its way. And the forehand, the tall 21-year-old Gore player. Gary Lawson's looking at this one. Is it going to cut under the head or get all the way to the jack? It is going under the head. Had more weight on it as well. Mike Kernaghan, same draw here. Very not saying he's laid back, but he just is. He makes things.
Nice and simple.
He does. He doesn't sort of overplay things, does he, Brendan? We watch this bowl of Lance Pascoe's.
Well, basically, he knows that all the players he's playing with have played a lot of bowls. They know that the shots to play. If they want a bit of direction, he'll obviously give it.
Absolutely. Have faith in those players that you got with you. So there, Gary Lawson just making sure that Jamie Hill, there's that line down through there under the short bowl of Kelvin Scott's getting down to the shot bowl. And we watch this bowl of Jamie Hill's. Is it under the Kelvin Scott bowl? If it is, it's on a good line. It's going to be outside it though. And we'll go by. And Mike Kernaghan saying to Lance Pascoe, you don't have to change too much. You went very far away with your first. You'll endeavour to beat his last bowl, will Lance Pascoe. Played some big bowls at certain times in this match, has Pascoe. Maybe not drawing the shot, but certainly second shot. Now this really gives Gary Lawson the opening, because you can see there, Brendan, there's that port down through those two bowls. Get through that port, you're very, very close to the shot bowl. So here is now that Jamie Hill bowl, and he's not going to be under it. Great effort was the call you heard from Gary Lawson, chasing his 14th New Zealand title, and this is the final of the Summerset Men's National Fours.
Yeah, looks like Mike Kernaghan, the way it's going at the moment, maybe denying him though, and himself moving it a step closer to Gary Lawson's title. Still,
well, this is a
two
big
and a bit
end.
ends to be played though.
This is a big end, this one, because Mike Kernaghan scores, even if it's just the one, just makes that job harder. Means that Lawson must score on that 17th end. So you see this first bowl of Mike Kernaghan's on this, the 16th end. I mean, he won't be happy with that bowl. He may have cut the jack line off though for Gary Lawson down through there. I'm sure he wasn't deliberately, he wouldn't have been trying to do that. So here is Lawson now. Certainly playing with more weight. He's close. In fact, rocked on the ball.
Oh, Bagri Howley. See the hands on head moment there for Bagri Howley. The one ball they didn't want knocked away.
He certainly was close. Now, Mike Kernaghan want to get another bowl reasonably close, I would imagine, because there's a two-shot.
Just holding one.
Gets rid of the bowl. It makes two. Would make two to Gary Lawson if his was to stay there. Just walking past us now is Gary Lawson. A bit of a shake of the head there. Knew he was close, and he certainly was close to getting that right result. We see now Mike Kernaghan on his backhand leading 16-11 as we come to the end of the 16th of 18 ends in this final of the National Summerset National Men's Fours here at Mount Maunganui. And it's now breaking in towards the head, trying to get to the bowl of Kelvin Scott's or Lance Pascoe's bowl. An applause there from the team. Still just the one. But it's another bowl on the head, which is the important thing for Mike Kernaghan, as Kelvin Scott would just move a fraction.
Playing obviously for 3 hours plus. Forgotten the instructions delivered
They
some
have.
time ago.
So here now is Gary Lawson on the mat. Big bowl, one down. He'll certainly be playing to reach that shot bowl. Looks to be under the line, but anything of course can happen, and he'll make shot of that, I think. Everything rolled around.
Yeah, confirmed. So well played, Gary Lawson. Picking up the shot, much needed as well, as you said. If that was Kernaghan picking up shot there, that would have been a big 6-shot lead, but instead it's down to 4. 16-12 now. Mike Kernaghan over Gary Lawson after 16 of the 18 ends. It tightens up a bit more once again.
I think we're going to see the mat back again. And a good talk now, Sheldon Bagley Howley, and the mat is going back. They're going to get to the more consistent length, and I think we're going to be looking at back towards the 3/4 length, but the mat is right back on the 2 metre mark, playing down towards the Port of Tauranga end. On this, the 17th end of 18. We're going long.
Gary
No,
Lawson
change of
was
mind.
just was in two minds himself there. And then just as Sheldon Bagri Howley was about to roll down the jack, Sheldon yelled out by Gary Lawson. He decided we'll go long.
So, jack's been delivered. is it going to stay up? No, it's not. That's going into the ditch. So we'll have the replay of that. And
Matt, right back, mate.
yes, now we've seen the call from the mat is right back. Mikey has said to Chad Grant, make sure the mat's right back. And it is right back. He plays around with it, but it is right back on the 2 metre mark. And
Right down here.
Mike Kernaghan just down here. So I think we're still going to play the same length that Gary Lawson really wanted to play as well.
Yeah, I think so. So obviously Mike Kernaghan is happy with that. He's like, yep, if you want to play that length, I'm happy to play that length. See if Chad Grant can deliver. It's certainly not at the 2 metre. More of that 3/4 length end.
So it's 16-12, Mike Kernaghan as we commence in 17. Certainly been, as we expected, a tight and very, very competitive game as we see Sheldon Bagley Howley going to just go in behind the head, over the head. He won't be too concerned about that, Will Lawson. And Chad Grant, he'll follow that bowl up. Chad Grant, of course, now playing out of the Tarrant Point Club in Sydney on his forehand, formerly of Rotorua, winner of the New Zealand Trust Open Singles. And this bowl's going to be really short, this one. And
It's really wide too.
yeah, well, the green has tightened up, Brendan. Now the sun's gone, temperature's gone, dropping down, completely different. And the green will just close up, and that's actually needs that. You'll see, really needs that extra weight on the delivery point. As we see, there's a good bowl here from Sheldon Bagley Harley. Very, very good bowl from the lead of Gary Lawson's going to sit Jack Levitt. You'll notice now the bowls, as they draw Jack Levitt, aren't running away. They're not running that metre away. They're sort of hanging in around the area. And that indicates that it has slowed down. So here is Chad Grant endeavouring to draw the shot for his lead. Mike Kernaghan not quite going to get all the way. Is it? Great attempt. It may get all the way. It is all the way.
Yeah, much better second bowl there from Chad Grant after wayward first. Good adjustment.
Backhand we'll see from Caleb Hope, his favoured backhand side. Looks as though it might just run into the Sheldon Bagley Howley bowl, and it does. And that makes definitely, it shot the bowl of Caleb Hope's and behind the head.
Yeah, not what he was after. Bit of luck. Worked out well.
Kelvin Scott now came back, had major back surgery last year, and virtually was out of commission for a good part of the season. Going to get to the bowl or the jack, gets the jack, moves it round the corner. It will still be down.
Oh, will it?
Yes, well, no, it is. It's the shot, and Kelvin Scott now back after major back surgery, and will be, of course, part of the Canterbury side as well, and that into centre. So Gary Lawson just saying to Caleb Hope, you've got the weight, you've got a chance. Has it got the weight? No, it hasn't. It's going to pull up short. So Mike Kernaghan saying to Kelvin Scott, same bowl.
Had too much weight with the first, got a bit lucky. Caleb Hope with the second, not enough. Obviously when you do have that reaching weight, you make your own luck, don't you?
Certainly do. As we watch this bowl of Kelvin Scott's, Mike Kernaghan urging it on, but not going to get all the way. And Gary Lawson saying to Jamie Hill, draw a toucher, you make two of it. So here is Jamie Hill trying to get to the jack, make a touch on it and move it towards the Caleb Hope bowl, the Sheldon Bagley Howley bowl. Gary Lawson liking this bowl as it's breaking down towards the head. This is close, this bowl of Jamie Hills, and that'll certainly be the shot. Mike Kernaghan now just saying to Lance Pesco, follow that up, reach it. And he is endeavouring to do so. Looks wide. And it will be wide. It's outside the head. And Gary Lawson just saying to Jamie Hill, you can get a roll out of the Kelvin Scott bowl, would be good. You can make 3 of it, or a touch on the jack would be of a similar result.
Yeah, Sheldon Bagrihalli is interested again because this doesn't look too dissimilar from the last one.
Very close, very close.
Made it 2.
That's 2, definitely. Well
Both
played.
played by Jamie Hill. Wonderful bowling from the number 3 for Gary Lawson's quartet. Now what can Lance Pascoe do in reply? He had probably the right line, just too much weight the previous one. And more interested this time round. Has it got the weight?
This is close. This bowl of Lance Pascoe's going to sit and fall over, and does. That'll make shot of it. Well played.
3 great bowls out of 4 by the number 3s. Jamie Hill, 2 fine bowls, but upstaged by an even better bowl by Lance Pascoe. Low 5s, and even the low 5 from Mike Kernaghan. That's the most you're going to get out of him.
It's a big.
Beyond the handshake.
He must have been happy with it. Gary Lawson now. He'll follow that same line as Jamie Hill and Lance Pascoe, and everything's to Lawson's advantage if he was fortunate enough to get a touch on the jack. Definitely Mike Kernaghan holding the shot. This bowl of Lawson's looks to be on the narrow side, and it is going to just fade away on that narrow side. This now becomes a very, very important couple of bowls to be played in the context of this match, Brenton, because you know there's a chance for Gary Lawson, of course, if he was to move the jack round the corner, could make 3 of it or 2 of it.
Now, we've seen A4 in this match, haven't we? But
We have.
the majority have been 1s. There's been a 3 or maybe 2 3s.
There was we had a 3 to Gary Lawson on the second end, a 4 to Mike Kernaghan on the 6th, and then a 3 to Mike Kernaghan on the 11th.
Big numbers have been tough to come by. It's been a pretty low scoring match.
Well, that 3 was, remember, that was when the jack got moved right ahead of the side, and Gary Lawson's bowl went into the, didn't stay alive. Here's Kernaghan changing his hand. Hasn't played many down on this hand, but trying to get to the, I would say, the cover bowls, trying to get to where the trail shot does. So here's the call from Gary Lawson. Said, got to try and get there. So that means he won't be shy of weight, one would think. Trying to get up to either the Lance Pascoe bowl or that touch on the jack. So it's on its way is the Lawson bowl. Looking towards the head now. Is it going to come all the way back? Urging it in towards the head now. Urging it to the head. That's it, made a big difference.
Should have grabbed the shot, I think.
I would think so.
Wait for the indication. Maybe it's not far away.
In fact, it's 2 going up.
Yeah, 2 goes up from Alex Reid, so it's knocked away the Pascoe bowl enough.
So, Mike Kernaghan, I'm sure now.
Oh, even 3 now has been indicated.
It is 3, it's been indicated. Mike Kernaghan makes his way back to the mat.
Pressure on everyone now, including the lollipop man, Alex Reid.
Yeah, took him a while to do that. Here is now Mike Kernaghan.
Putting the heat on, Kevin Ackland.
Wow, yeah.
Everyone's got to be at the top of their game at the business end, don't they?
Here is now this Mike Kernaghan bowl on this, the 17th end. Is it going to get back far enough to the jack to reduce the count?
So.
No, it's not.
So, a huge, huge bowl from Gary Lawson. Turned 1 down into kick away. At least 1's been knocked away so far. Knock away 2. Now, is it 3? It's Pascoe looking over things. We've had very few measures in this game, haven't we?
There has been.
They've just looked pretty much
But
with
this
the
one,
naked eye. Said,
see
yep,
the
it's
measure
enough
here.
for me, but the measure, what's very crucial measure as well, because there's a big difference between 2 and 3, because going 2-shot game or a 1-shot game going into the 18th and final end. But
3 it is.
huge bowl from Gary Lawson. 1 down, turns it into 3 up. 16-15 it is now. Ready for the 18th and final end. What's your chance of an extra end here? It'll only be just, wouldn't it? We've had 6 replayed ends.
Well, something's going to happen. Well, we see the
Ben beside me wanted to witness a 25 end game. I think there's very much a chance of
close
it
to
happening.
it. So the conversation.
We didn't have the tea break in the middle.
No, we didn't. We didn't. So, great bowl by Gary Lawson. Gives it a big deep breath as he walks past us. He knows he got his side right into this game now, right into the final. Was that magnificent bowl that he played on the 17th end. Won the difference now. Kernaghan leading 16-15. Jack's been delivered as we play the 18th end. Right out in front of us here. So here is now Sheldon Bagley-Howley. So will it be a first total for Sheldon Bagley-Howley and Caleb Hope in number 14 for Gary Lawson, or will it be the first for Chad Grant and Lance Pascoe?
Well, all options are possible here, aren't they? Only 1 shot between these 2 great 4s playing the 18th and final end. A great start from Sheldon Bagley-Howley off the front for Gary Lawson.
Certainly is. Draws very adjacent to the jack. As we see now, Chad Grant trying to get down to. He's close as well to the jack. And just got a touch on the jack, on the back of the jack. And moved it.
Fair effort from Chad Grant.
Well, the good thing is he was up, Brenton. He was, gave it a chance to get to the jack. Sheldon Bagley-Howley on his backhand. He's been pretty impressive. Well, he's been very impressive, in fact, as the young Gore player in this final. And Mike Kernaghan just saying to Chad Grant that you're more than likely about a yard quick, although he did get a touch on the jack. Well, not he just didn't want to be short though. So it's on its way on the backhand. Trying to get down to that shot bowl. And it's got weight on. And we'll go in behind the head. So definitely it's 2 at this point to the Gary Lawson side, but a lot of bowls to be played yet. So here's Caleb Hope now. Another the young Gore player.
And does Mike Kernaghan, Kevin, start to have memories of last year? And he had a decent lead playing the last few. Dean Elgar snatched it from him.
So certainly that thought was there for sure. So now here is the very experienced Kelvin Scott on his backhand, daring to draw the shot for Mike Kernaghan. Question now, how's it going to pull all the way in? Going to go by, will in fact be second shot, and it is second shot. I'm just saying to Caleb Hope, you just got to beat that last bowl. 16-15. Mike Kernaghan leading. Doesn't like this bowl. Did Caleb Hope let it go? He saw the head go down very quickly. Knew he was on the quick side. The call from Mike Kernaghan to Kelvin Scott. Just a metre. experienced draw player. Here's Kelvin Scott. It's on its way. Certainly got less weight than the first. Just break under to the head. And
pretty much jack level.
still one.
Yeah, still one, certainly, to Sheldon Bagri-Howley. That bowl just short of the jack, but not a bad effort that time from Kelvin Scott. Now Jamie Hill, the first of the threes to play.
Good line here from Jamie Hill. There's a good bowl from Hill. Just going to get past. He does, the Caleb Hope. The Sheldon Bagri-Howley bowl, and that's definitely two now. 15 inches short is the call from Mike Kernaghan. Lance Pascoe now. I don't think he likes this one. He just turned away on the bowl. Looks pretty good from where we're sitting though. How far is it going to run though?
It's a bit wide.
More than likely had reasonably good weights. That's two. Gary Lawson. Ian 17 might go down in the history book. Brendan is the end at possibly one of his 14th New Zealand title, as we see Jamie Hill bowl just go by. Still be two. Lance Pascoe. Will this be his last bowl? This National Fours final on its way. We saw Lawson play that magnificent bowl on the 17th end. And watch this bowl of Lance Pascoe's drawing round and behind the head. Looks pretty good to me. Just see what it is. That's the shot from Lance Pascoe. Great bowl there under pressure.
Wonderfully done. Yeah, by Pascoe. Needed as well, as you say, because front three for Gary Lawson had done a good job. Drawn a couple of shots. Pascoe coming up with the pressure bowl. Now it's up to the skips. Gary Lawson to play first.
On the backhand. Steadies himself. 16-15, Mike Kernaghan. And Mike Kernaghan holding the shot. We saw Gary Lawson that last end play that big bowl to turn one down into three up. On its way now. Is it going to get to the jack? It's on a good line. Going to get to the... Got to the Sheldon Bagri-Howley bowl. Turn it over. Go the fist pump.
That's the shot straight back. Wonderfully played.
Who
promoting the Bagri-Howley
Who
bowl.
said extra end?
I did, just for Ben's benefit. Because that would in effect be a 25th end, because we've had 6 replayed ends, and we were joking off here yesterday with Ben, who's mastermind behind this production here. He didn't realise that they played 25 end games at the Taranaki Fours, and we're potentially being treated to one here.
So here is now Mike Kernaghan on the backhand. One down. Don't like the weight. Certainly don't like the weight. So Gary Lawson.
Oh.
One bowl left to make 2 of it in the win.
Kernaghan still has a shot to play, of course. So they're agonising over this one, trying to work out firstly what they can play to put all the pressure back on Kernaghan, because obviously at the moment one will make it an extra end.
So Mike Kernaghan, you notice, just goes and sits down at the back of the ring. There's no drama. We'll just wait and see what Gary does, and then I'll see what I have to do. So here is now Gary Lawson holding 1.
Well, you talked to Joe Edwards about that as well. So important to, you know, clock on and clock off. You can't just be on all the time, especially for such a long game, 3.5 hours.
Here is Lawson now on the backhand, trailing 16-15, holding 1 on the last end. I just question that weight. I question the weight. and it's not going to get down to the counting area. So at this stage, it's an extra end we've got at this point in time, unless Mike Kernaghan can draw the shot here with his last bowl on this, the 18th end, the final, the men's fours at the Summerset Nationals.
If anyone can do it, Mike Kernaghan can. One of the great draw bowlers coming on his backhand side.
Well,
The
he's certainly
final
got more
bowl of
weight.
the 18th and final end. It's going to asking a bit too much of it though. And we are going to an extra end in the final of the men's fours here at the Summerset Nationals at Bowls Mount Maunganui. They've had the toss already. Quick, smart.
Well, Brennan, at the end of the 15th end, of course, it was Mike Kernaghan leading 16 shots to 11, and then a 1, and then the big bowl, a 1 to Gary Lawson on the 16th, and then that huge bowl of Gary Lawson's on the 17th when he turned 1 down into 3 up, and then the 1 there. And of course, now it's that 16 all after 18 ends, and you know, hats off yet again to Gary Lawson, because that 3 that he converted from 1 down certainly got the Lawson side right back into this match.
Yeah, I think it's only apt. We play an extra end. It's been such a tight contest. Yes, Mike Kernaghan did lead 16-11, 3 ends to play. Gary Lawson having to play some wonderful bowls to level the match, to take us to where we're at. But there's been very little between these two fours.
Well, and of course early on Gary Lawson was leading 7-2, so they've both come back from deficits and caught themselves up, got in front. So, and that was sort of to be expected from the calibre of these players, as we see now. The first bowl, Sheldon Bagley Howley go in behind the jack, right back to the centre line. So, Chad Grant, his first bowl of this extra end. Just going to go by, sit outside the Sheldon Bagley Howley bowl. Still a good crowd really here, and I know there's a number inside as well. So here is a second bowl of Sheldon Bagley Howley, and this is on a good line, this bowl too. Going to sit outside the jack line, go by a metre. So we've played 18 and had what, 6-7 kills?
Yeah, it's 6 I believe. 6 replayed ends. So I suppose in effect this is a 25th end. Officially just the extra end to decide this match.
So Chad Grant bowl. He's going to pull up short. He'd be disappointed with that. On the backhand we'll see now Caleb Hope. Front two, front two, Caleb Hope and Sheldon Bagley Howley have been pretty consistent. Gary Lawson coaxing this bowl on. That'll be the shot itself. Sits just alongside and lower the jack. Good bowl. So Kelvin Scott now picking will endeavour to draw down on his forehand. Underneath the bowl of Chad Grant's to get to the shot bowl or the jack. Mike Kernaghan's looking at this bowl as it's breaking in towards the head, won't quite run all the way.
Yeah, fair effort.
Of course, the Mike Kernaghan side, they do have the last bowl. And I know Brendan has said it before, but it's 9-eye with Mike Kernaghan. We already had that buffer of a lead over Dean Elgar. Just slipped away. This time, though, it was really one bowl from Gary Lawson on the 17th end, which really... So, interesting. Gary Lawson not now worrying about the head, saying to Caleb Hope, you get back here. And really what he's saying to the Mike Kernaghan side, you guys have got to draw the shot.
Yeah, you beat that Caleb Hope one, which is just to the left of the jack.
So now Kelvin Scott with his last bowl, as Brendan said, wasn't very far away really with his first bowl, and he needed a couple of rolls. As we watch this second bowl of Kelvin Scott's, it's also going to just pull up, lower the jack. So Gary Lawson saying to Jamie Hill, draw a toucher on the backhand. I'm sure Lance Pascoe thought when he drew the shot he might have played the winning shot on that last end. So the call to Lance Pascoe, just need a couple of feet of weight on that backhand. On this extra end, is it going to get all the way? Is the Lance Pascoe bowl urging it on, urging the pole on? Just going to.
Needed a extra foot of weight.
Well,
great line.
That's actually
perfect.
That's made it quite difficult now for Mike Kernaghan, where that bowl in fact is finished in that front line to the jack. So here now is Jamie Hill on his backhand. There's another good bowl from Jamie Hill, and in fact will count. It is two. Now saying to Lance Pascoe, you can reach up there, reach up through with some searching weight. Does Lance Pascoe on the backhand, trying to get down to that. Mike Kernaghan's down looking at this bowl. Is it breaking towards the head, trying to get to the jack? And my goodness, that was close.
That? No, not got anything there. Unbelievable.
Well, I haven't seen a replay of that, but that was close. Very close was Lance Pascoe to getting the result that they were looking for. They change over. And Mike Kernaghan just, as you said, just going, sit down, time out.
Yeah, and
switch off.
Gary Lawson on the flip side, staying engaged and having a chat with Jamie Hill and Sheldon Bagri-Howley as he works out what to play. Of course, he's defending here. He holds the shot.
So Lawson will play on his forehand. On this, the extra end. After the 18 ends, it's all tied up. 16 apiece. After Mike Kernaghan led 16-11 at the end of 15. So Kernaghan, I'm sure he'll be trying to play that push and prod shot, reach up to the bowl, and if there's anyone capable of playing that, it's this guy.
2 bowls remain for Mike Kernaghan in this final in the Summerset National Fours. Runner-up last year, doesn't want to be runner-up again.
So here is Kernaghan on that backhand search, looking for the shot bowl, breaking down towards the head now. In fact, it's moved the jack back. course, that moved it back to where there's a Jamie Hill bowl there as well. So what does Mike Kernaghan do here? 2 shots. Not that shots really matter. One's enough in this predicament. So the Gary Lawson side all down, having a look. What do we play here? Oh dear, says Gary Lawson as he walks past us with a wry smile. Yeah, well done, Gary.
It's pressure time. Last bowl now for Gary Lawson. He knows Mike Kernaghan. Play after him. What does he do here? He's got to think another step ahead. He's got to try and get in the brain of Mike Kernaghan and go, what is Mike Kernaghan going to try and play here?
Well, the last thing he wants to do is to give Mike Kernaghan a shoulder on that side. It's very difficult to see. The shoulder will give something for Kernaghan to run into. So, Mike Kernaghan. So, is Mike Kernaghan going to drive that front bowl?
You mean so the white bowl to the left?
Yep. Because if he could well dislodge both of those bowls, and have got a Chad Grant bowl just back in behind here. Last bowl. Kernaghan
This is the match.
on the mat. 16 all. Extra in. And he is going for that drive that we spoke about to try and get to. And got this front bowl.
That's it though. It's shake hands time. Hasn't been able to find the mark. And it is Gary Lawson who wins a 14th national title here at Bowls Mount Maunganui. The quartet of Gary Lawson, Jamie Hill, Caleb Hope and Sheldon Bagri-Howley successful on an extra end, taking down Mike Kernaghan, Lance Pascoe, Calvin Scott and Chad Grant. It is a maiden national title for both Sheldon Bagri-Howley and Caleb Hope, another for Jamie Hill, and a record extending 14th for Gary Lawson.
Well, we saw, as we expected, Brennan, we thought we would see a dramatic final, and we certainly were not disappointed. We have seen that here this afternoon and early this evening. And to me, the big bowl came on the 17th end when Gary Lawson was trailing Mike Kernaghan by 16 to 12. It was 16-11 to Mike Kernaghan after 15. A 1 to Gary Lawson on the 16th. And then we saw the big bowl from Gary Lawson when he was 1 down on the 17th end and played up, dislodged the shot bowl and made 3 of it to go to take it then to that 16-15, and then a 1 of course on the 18th end, and then of course the extra end. We saw the Gary Lawson side really controlled the head quite right throughout really on that extra end, and Mike Kernaghan just couldn't get the shot to give him his title. But what can we say about Gary Lawson? 14 New Zealand titles now. This guy is never out of it. He was down, he was up 7-2, then behind by 16 shots to 11, and Lawson being the fighter that he is, that's why he's won 14 New Zealand titles. And Gary Lawson wins another title now, his 14th, the first of course for Sheldon Bagri-Howley and Caleb Hope. Full marks to Gary Lawson, who said he'd take these younger guys under his wing and play in the Nationals and win them a New Zealand title, and that he has duly done. Gary Lawson now making his way over to Brenton Van Nistelrooy, where Brenton will interview him. So here is now Brenton Van Nistelrooy and Gary Lawson as Gary Lawson celebrates his 14th New Zealand title, and I pass it over to Brenton Van Nistelrooy and Gary Lawson.
Now joined by Gary Lawson, the successful skip of the men's 4. Well, Gary, a 14th national title for you, but that final had absolutely everything. Talk us through the emotions right now.
Oh, just unbelievable. I just think the sort of things weren't going, the rubber of the green wasn't really working for us early, and I said the boys just got to hang in there, and, I thought the young fellas played awesome. First New Zealand title for them, that's what it's all about really, and You know, they kept their nerve, and I thought they played the last 3 or 4 ends really good. You know, gave us a chance, and he played a good bowl. You know, got a good one on the second last end, which kept us in the game, obviously. But I'm thrilled for the young fellas. Like, you know, they just hung in there really tough, and I thought it was a good effort from them.
Yeah, Sheldon Bagri-Howley very consistent off the front. Caleb Hope, your number 2. How did it all come about? Why did you decide to play with the youngsters?
Oh, the young fella's been asking me for 3 or 4 years now, and I said, I'll give you a go one day. I'll just see. And McElroy and Grantham sacked Ellie and I, so we thought, yeah, we'll give them a go. And you know, they've had a couple of battles, you know, in a couple of previous rounds, but you know, I was really proud of them today. I thought they hung in awesome, and they showed, you know, they got talent, and they're going to be really good for New Zealand for a long time.
Yeah, and talk about the role of your number 3 as well, Jamie Hill, that's played in the success.
Yeah, well, Hilly, you know, he was just going to be the rock, you know, between me and the young fellas, and you know, he was awesome. But you know, you know, full credit to Kearney and his team. I mean, you know, Scotty and Lance are really good mates of mine, so you feel a bit sorry for them. But you know, obviously we were wrapped to win.
Yeah, what was going through the mind? I think 16-11 down with 4 ends to play. You managed to claw it back, and then obviously how'd you execute in that extra end?
Well, you know, we only need to get 1 or 2 at a time. You know, we weren't trying to get numbers, and you know, that just, you know, we just got you know, it was an amazing end when we got the 3. You know, so that was good. But you know, you can only play those shots if the boys have got bowls on their head, and that was what they did really well. So look, it was an awesome final, and you know, like, just thrilled and sort of still a little bit numb, not quite sure how we got out of it, but we'll take it.
And a 14th national title record extending. How high can you go now?
Oh, look, I don't know. Look, I say this every time, Brendan. You know, the 14th is just as good as the first. They all mean the same. They're hard to win. You never know when you're going to win your last. And you know, I've been with a lot of boys who've won their first and never won another one. So you know, these boys, I'm just so happy to be with them, winning their first title. You know, it's something they'll never forget. And you know, if they don't win another one, they still won one. So it's awesome.
And you get to lift the Dominion Shield very shortly for the first time, brought back a trophy, first presented in 1888. That makes it extra special.
That's awesome. You know, like, it's good, you know, and the boys said, we can't drink out of it. I said, well, put the drinks on top of it, it'll be all good tonight.
Well, enjoy it. Go pick up that trophy.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Gary Lawson, the successful skip, about to be presented with the Dominion Shield, winning along with Jamie Hill, Caleb Hope and Sheldon Bagri-Howley. They are your champions here at the Summerset National Fours.
Now, also this afternoon with that victory, I've just been informed there will be a special presentation made to Gary Lawson on achieving his 14th New Zealand title. In fact, there's another one that goes in from another event, and he'll get another award this afternoon, which they have deemed.
We have reached the end of the Summerset National Fours for 2020. Taken a while to get there. Congratulations to those 2 teams just playing in that magnificent final, and congratulations to those that have been involved in the semi-finals prior to that have been patient enough to wait for us here, and we won't make you wait too much longer. There's just a couple of things that I would like to speak about before we start handing out some trophies and medals. Firstly, I'd like to introduce those to my left. On my far left, Mr. Mike Spring, who is a former president of Bowls New Zealand and will be well known to those of you from the Bay of Plenty area at least. Helen Stallard to his right. Helen's obviously been the engine room of the operation on the corner of the building over there, and Helen, thank you for everything you've done, not just in this tournament but throughout the season for us as well. And Alex Reid, who has been something of an understudy to Helen this event, and you've probably seen him walking up the green a few times in the last 3 or 4 hours or whatever it's been, so yeah, too many times, fair enough. I do just want to acknowledge a few other people. Our umpires, who have been diligent throughout the event at all of our venues, and represented here today by Sue Rossiter, thank you, and by Robert England. Thank you, both of you, on behalf of all of the umpires that were involved in this event. Also like to thank the Bowls Bay of Plenty Centre and the 8 clubs that have helped us to deliver this event over the last 4 days. Aroa, Rotorua, Nongataha, Te Puke, Tauranga South, Tauranga Domain and Matua Bowling Clubs, obviously, before today. There are many volunteers for their support, and obviously this fantastic venue here that we've been blessed to be involved with. Rod, Garrick, Keith, Athol, Margie, you and your team have been wonderful to work with, and we thank you all for your outstanding contribution to this event. Rod, are you handy? Man, Good man. We have a little plaque to acknowledge your involvement in this event. Would you please come forward and receive that from Mike? It's a massive undertaking putting something like this together, and Bowls Mount Maunganui and Club Mount Maunganui have been really first class, and I'm sure you'll all agree that it's been a tremendous effort from them and their band of merry men and women. Thank you, Rod, on behalf of us all. Dean, where are you? He's probably got sprinklers going or something, but greenkeeper's obviously a very, very important part of any event, and Dean, you have been the last one involved today, but by no means the only one. We thank all of the greenkeepers that have been involved at our 8 venues, and your greens here have been a credit to you. Thank you very much for your collective commitment across the 8 venues. To the staff of Club Mount Maunganui, again, just a great job. Nothing's been too much trouble, and we're really very, very pleased with how the venue has delivered this event. And of course, finally, to our event sponsor, Summerset. Doesn't happen without the commercial partners and a wonderful relationship that Bowls New Zealand's fortunate to have with Summerset, and long may that continue. We're very grateful for those, for the benefit of our players, and of course the event itself and the TV coverage that goes along with it. To our presentations, bronze medalists, the 2 losing semi-finalists. Can I have Shannon McElroy, Peter Hodson, Seamus Curtin and Tony Grantham to come up and receive their bronze medals from Mike. That uniform's blending in with the night sky. And Mike Carroll, would you please bring James Cameron Powell, Stephen Bryan and John Bryan forward for your bronze medals. Well played, guys. To our runners-up, the silver medalists, fantastic final. I think everyone thoroughly enjoyed it. I think we began to wonder whether it was ever going to end. You guys just kept us entertained for hours, so well done. Mike, would you please bring Lance Pascoe, Chad Grant and Kelvin Scott with you for your silver medals. Give them a hand. Well done, guys. And as the day dawns, we bring the winning champions of 2020, Summerset National Fours. Gary, please bring forward Jamie Hill, Caleb Hope and Sheldon Bagri-Howley for your gold medals and, of course, the Dominion Shield. Well done. you want to grab that trophy, Gary, and get it up the right way? Photo opportunity here. We have got one more presentation to make for Gary, so please don't run away. Good. Okay. Gary, in winning today, you have achieved a gold star, 15 championships. Congratulations. I know you're a little uncomfortable with one of those, but it is there to be presented somewhere. We got that, Mike? It's on the table there, I think, Ellen, is it? Sorry. So Gary Lawson, back in 1989, National Open Singles Champion representing Sydenham. 93, Open Fours Composite Team 94, Open Fours Composite Team 94, National Open Singles representing Carlton Cornwall. 1996, Open Fours Composite Team, which gave him a gold star for the first time. 1997, Open Fours Composite. 1997, Open Pairs Composite. 2004, National Open Fours representing Burnside. 2008, National Open Pairs representing Eastbourne. 2009, Club Fours representing Eastbourne, which gave him a gold star for 10 titles. 2010, National Open Pairs representing Eastbourne. 2011, National Open Pairs representing Sumner. 2018, National Open Pairs representing the composite side. 2018, National Open Pairs Composite. And then today, of course, 2020 National Fours Champion. Gary, that is a magnificent achievement. Congratulations.
Thanks. Yeah, I won't be long. Thanks everyone for a great day. Kearney and the boys, you know, he could have gone anyway, and you know, it's obviously with Scotty and Lancey there, would have been okay if they'd have won. But anyway, firstly, I'd really like to just, you know, thank my boys, the two young chaps. First title for them, and that's always the biggest one, and they'll be here winning some more. And to the old campaigner, Hilly, you know, he just trugged along nicely. It was good. To Saucy and the boys, awesome. Great to see them up here. And to Shannon and his team, well, you know, at the end of the day, he sacked us last year, so it's nice that he's down the other end. But thanks, everyone, for staying, and it's been awesome, and really, really happy. So, yeah, cheers.
Thanks, Gary. I think we all agree that was a great final. Well done, mate. And well done to the youngsters there on the left-hand side of me. First title. Well done, guys. Fantastic. Really great. Have a fantastic evening, all of you, and have a very safe journey home. We will see you again soon, I'm sure. Cheers.
That concludes our presentation here from Bowls, Mount Maunganui. Just last few words in summary of these Summerset National Fours as Gary Lawson celebrates alongside Jamie Hill, Caleb Hope and Sheldon Bagri-Howley, holding the Dominion Shield, presented for the first time back in 1888, presented again to the successful men's champions. Earlier today it was Sandra Keith taking out the women's fours title along with Claire Hendra, Selena Smith and Taylor Bruce. And Kevin Hicklin, well, it lasted some 4 hours, that men's fours final, but we got there in the end. It had 6 replayed ends. It had a big comeback as Gary Lawson came from behind over the closing stages to force that extra end, and then well executed. And as Gary Lawson mentioned in the interview, Kevin, the youngsters will probably remember this more than most. The first national titles for Sheldon Bagri-Howley and also Caleb Hope.
Yeah, certainly a great honour for them to win their first ever national title. But to me, Gary Lawson showed today on the 17th end, to me that was what he did. He was one down on the head, down on the board, and turned one down into a 3-shot head for Lawson, just get a 1 on the 18th end. And it just shows what Gary Lawson brings to the game, his passion to the game. He was encouraging his side all the way through. And, you know, Mike Kernaghan would have also, of course, been a deserved winner with his side. But Gary Lawson, what more can you say about the guy? He's done it all. And Sandra Keith, of course, with her win in the fours. A good win for her, winning her first national fours. But certainly a magnificent event here at Tauranga at Mount Maunganui. And what a fitting climax. extra in. Couldn't get any closer, could you?
Yeah, absolutely. On behalf of Kevin Hicklin, Ben and Tamara, thank you very much for joining us throughout the 4 days, and particularly these last 2 days of these Summerset National Fours. Make sure you have a good evening, and we'll be back next time for North-South and the National Intercentre at the end of the month.